I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs spoon. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make the man and some pressure make a gemstone. Trying to put $1 to my name like Creflo. Naja boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. And I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's IGBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. Crack no books on the hustle, I was born to grind. Yo, scared of your potential, I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man, of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes, it's basic, I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip, I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my wounds as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Ooh, that soldier in the mirror, oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Django. Get it from my mama, hip so thick that I need tempo. Personality, spicy body banging like a bongo. Cause black women been it since Timbuktu since Pharaoh. Sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones. If you ain't for the culture, then please stay out of my zone. These little dummy rappers could never grace my headphones. See, I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there. If you want the battle, ain't no problem, say where. I got so much experience, I can't even play fair. But I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing. You need endurance to go in, I got mileage on this pen. I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my wounds as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Ooh, that soldier in the mirror, oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. Turn all of my
guys were checking shoes last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant!
Judgment, Alfred.
Chloe, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Judgment, Alfred.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love him when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to see all you guys tonight. So good to see you. Miss Ann, go ahead and text me. I guess YouTube, well, what I said was it wouldn't let me say it in the chat, but if she's got a tick on her, just grab that thing off with tweezers and burn it with your cigarette lighter or something, because if you just let them go, they'll find body heat. Like ticks are very gross. I'm itching just thinking about it. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that with Chewy. And mods, also just be on high alert. Thank you for being here, all of you guys. So I've had a bunch of threats all day yesterday from one of the Tates, who is one of the family members of the children that we talk to on the show here, or that we talk about on the show here. And his name is Devlin Tate. Let me just switch it over to Devlin really quick before, since we're talking about Devlin. Um, where he went missing from, Tamara in the striped shirt, I had asked her and sent her out an email, and we're going to go over it later in the show, along with the video that I posted about Devlin. It's only 2 minutes long, so if you want to leave chat and go watch it really quick, you could do that, if you want to kind of watch it beforehand, but we're going to go over it. I've received a lot of very, very ugly text messages and screenshots of stuff that was said to Devlin. And I wanted to get both sides of the story, but I no longer want that side of the story, because that side of the story is a liar. And I have caught them in several lies myself, let alone some of the things that they have said have outed themselves as being a liar, or about not being all the way truthful, right? And there's lies by omission as well. So if you guys see anybody in here, Tamara is not allowed to be in my chat anymore. As a matter of fact, I told her I do not want to talk to her anymore because of the threatening comments. And I told her if she keeps it up, that I will contact law enforcement. And she said it's not a threat, it's a promise. So I was like, ooh, you know. But I was down in the Keys yesterday, and so I was like, I'm not going to let this person ruin my day. But I don't take kindly to threats, right? Um, I'm not a 19-year-old scared little girl who's afraid to come on my show because you guys, scared the wits out of her, right? A very articulate, smart young lady who is a very good friend of Devlin's is afraid to come on the show or tell her name or show her face, or even be in the chat, because she's scared of these monsters, right? And I'll be damned if I'm going to allow for that. I'm not afraid of anyone but God. That is the only person that I fear, or only whatever you'd like to call it, spiritual being that I fear. That's it. I don't fear a bunch of bullies who pick on a young child, who they take his resources, what little resources he has, they want to strong arm and bully him and take them from him. I don't think so. No way. You made him sleep on the floor, Tamara. You made him sleep on the floor, and I gave you an opportunity to explain yourself, right? As if there is any explanation for doing that whatsoever. But no, you don't say, Lady Freedom, I didn't want him to sleep on the floor, but there was no other place for him. You never said that. You said there's been no abuse. And by God, there's been abuse. And you're going to sit there and be rude and raunchy with me? And you're going to tell me who I can get information from and who I can't? And you're going to say that if I let those people have a voice on my platform, that you're going to try to sue me? Sue me for what? Sue me for what, Tamara? Because I ain't got shit. I ain't got shit besides a conscience. I ain't got shit besides wanting to find your family member. So sue me for what? For letting someone else tell me their experiences with your family? Last time I checked, there's nothing illegal or unlawful about that. You just don't want the truth out. You just don't want other people sharing their opinions. Well, that's too bad. If you want to be a dictator, move out of America. Because here we have the right to say whatever we want. What you did to your family member is bullshit. You think that anybody thinks that's okay? Anybody that thinks that's okay, I don't want them on my channel. Because we talk about victims here. We talk about victims here. Right? Because I don't give a shit about anybody's feelings besides Devlin's. And you know what? His mom knows that, and she doesn't give me hell. She gives me screenshots. She shows me proof. You have yet to send me one screenshot. The only bit of proof that I have been given is a medical paperwork that your brother Matt sent over to me that says nothing about what the doctors diagnosed Devlin with. It was a doctor's form for a referral from another doctor to a geneticist. And all this list of ailments that your parents said that Devlin had when they brought him to the doctor. So, in my opinion, that's not proving anything. And you haven't shown me any type of proof, but Jessica has. But you say that I'm mistreating you and treating Jessica better than you. No, I have not. As a matter of fact, I told Jessica to her face that I didn't believe what she said when she said it, that I needed some proof. And only when I got proof and confirmation did I say, wow, I should have believed Jessica from the very beginning. But you know what? That's not her fault nor my fault. It's the fact that we need receipts. If you want to say something about someone else, maybe you should show me some proof because she has. And as a matter of fact, Jessica came up on my show and I have her on a recording that she was willing to have a recorded conversation. Matt was offered a recorded conversation. He never wanted that. He just wanted me to call his phone. Right? You've never I invited you up on the panel. You've never said that you wanted to come up on the panel and talk. Ever. Right? So I take that as a declined invitation as well. Right? Because you had an open invitation to come and say whatever you pleased, but you chose not to. You chose instead to send me emails telling me that you're threatening to sue me and that I better watch my step and blah blah blah. And I'm not the only one you sent that to, because you were pretty fucking busy, weren't you? Sending people threats all weekend long. You're not smooth. I know all about it. Hey, Tina girl. And it makes me so angry because Devlin's story matters. Devlin's story matters. And if it's a part of Devlin's story and some adults in his life are willing to come forward and tell me what I'm seeing to be wrong is absolutely wrong, then I'm absolutely going to have them on my show. And there's nothing you can do about it. And there's nothing a judge will do about it either, because it's their opinions on my show, giving my opinions. I'm sorry if you feel like you're losing control of the situation because I don't just believe that Devlin was cut off from his resources. Just, oh, it was because he wouldn't do anything. Well, let's see. You know what? I was going to wait, but tonight, let's do it this way. Because I understand a lot of you want to hear about Sebastian and the phone and everything, and we're going to go over that. Right, because somebody had sent me this, one of our friends had sent me this photo of Sebastian, and I want to know if you guys think he has a phone in his pocket or what. Right, but let me just go back here to Devlin's list of chores. And this is Devlin's routine. And this is based on what Sabrina thinks his routine should be, what Tamra's thinks his routine should be, right? Hey, Women's Warrior. Good to see you guys. I'm sorry I didn't say hello to everyone that's coming in here, but this is important. So, mind you, none of these animals belong to Devlin. It's their animals. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. So, Devlin's routine. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, he feeds the animals, right? So that's a good chore. I don't see anything wrong with any of these chores per se. And I'll just say that as a parent, right? Because kids do need responsibility and it's not a bad thing. Hey, Ann Brock, you know, Devlin needs justice. Amen. Thank you, Andrea. Devlin is missing Hasey Taylor and threats being sent. Right, right. And there's no reason for it because I'm only asking their opinions on it. I haven't even spoke on it. I hadn't even made up my mind whether I was going to speak on it or not. I was still in the gathering information stage. What is it called? Discovery. You're trying to figure out what's going on, asking everybody their opinions, what their experiences are. People are coming out of the woodwork contacting me. And you wonder why nobody wants to call you with information, Tamara. It's because they think you're guilty of sin the way you act, right? So why are you saying that I'm the only one that's coming up with these crazy theories? Because no one else will call you or help you with information because everybody knows that you're lying, right? And they get sick of it. That's why organizations won't deal with families like this because they don't want the bullshit. We saw it in Sebastian's case. They don't want to deal with drama. That's not what they're about. They're about doing a rescue and trying to find these children, trying to see if maybe they're in the water somewhere. It's pitiful. And they don't want to deal with bullshit. Anyway, he feeds the animals Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Garbage is Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday. Wow. No wonder you got to write it down. I could never remember all of this. You guys set this child up to fail, in my opinion. You set him up to fail. Hey, Sharon. And it's wrong. Dishes Monday and Friday. So let's see. We got feed animals dishes on Friday. Why don't you just do the schedule of the week so that way he can look and see, because I'm having trouble with it even. So Mondays you do these two chores, right? And then you also do litter box. So you got dishes, litter box, feed the animals, right? But your ass better be in bed by 10 p.m. Oh, well, that's a big fat friggin' lie right there. That they told us his curfew was at 10 o'clock, but that's his bedtime, right? According to this sheet. According to this sheet. Did they do any chores? It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like Devlin's a Cinderella. Good God, where's our friend Cinderella? Where's she at? We need her to weigh in on this. Poor Devlin. Cinderella. Do this, do the cat litter, do this, do this, do this, do that. You know? And you better be up before 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m., right? And in bed by 10 p.m. So I'm guessing he couldn't do anything after that. And this is an 18-year-old child who the judge said could take care of himself. We're going to get into that too. Because those are Devlin's words that he sounded worried, in my opinion, about that and asking his mom, well, what's going on with that? Right? I mean, I'm livid. So basically, only 2 days out of the week he didn't do the cat box. And then vacuuming on Saturday, sweeping on Tuesday, cleaning daily, 2 hours, filling water jugs as needed. How is he filling water jugs off of where? Of where? Where exactly? You talking about the reverse osmosis where you put the water jug under there and fill it up? What does he do? Have to carry jugs of water home? I swear to God. I swear to God. Afternoon meds, right? Bedtime meds. So he had his meds at 3:30. It looks like maybe I don't know if he did morning meds, but it's not on the list. 3:30 p.m. bedtime meds are at 8 p.m. But if his curfew was at 10 p.m., how could he take his bedtime meds? Right? Again, set him up to fail. I put the date of the voice text in there. My apologies. I'm really pissed, guys. It just really pisses me off. Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. Right, Carrie Joe? Change your clothes daily. Don't forget to change your clothes, Devlin. On top of all of it. And by the way, get your ass out of the house because we don't want you around. I mean, this is bullshit. Do your chores before leaving. Make sure that you do that all. You got to feed the animals, you got to take the garbage out. So the animals don't get fed every day at the same time. And I don't see where anybody else is contributing. It's not like a family chore list. This would be completely different if it was like, okay, this is our family chore list, and another sheet for Devlin in case he forgets or something like that, right? To keep him on task, maybe give him a checklist or something if that was necessary, right? He had to fill the water jugs at the laundromat. Can you elaborate on that, Jess? Because that's quite a fucking walk with water jugs. And how did he carry them in his hands? I mean, what is this? You guys treat him like a second class citizen, and then you want to bitch at me? I don't think so. In what way of thinking is that right? For the animals, for drinking and bathing. Wow. Okay, because the water, yeah, that's Matt said that the water pump was broken at Tammy's trailer. Right. I forgot about that. I'm sorry. Thank you. I mean, it's just it really baffles me, you know? I mean, this child, no, no, Tina. This child was responsible for bringing jugs of water back. Don't forget that this child was also dumpster diving, and I don't care if he's 18 or not. He's still a child to me. Unpaid servitude. Thanks, Elisa P. It's ridiculous, you know? Jessica says that sometimes Sandra would come pick him up and take him to the laundromat. Sometimes I believe Sabrina would, but Devlin would have to fill them up, put them in the vehicle, and bring them into Tammy's. Okay, thank you. So they would pick him up from the laundromat. How come Sabrina didn't have to go in there and fill up the jugs? Isn't she using them too? How are they bathing a little child in that house? Where the fuck is CPS at? Hello? McFly? For real. Hey, Bo. Modern day slavery of a child. And by the way, you better get your ass home because we're going to take some money from you. Dan Brock, there's stupid people in this world nowadays. Just saying. I agree. I agree. Or they play stupid. They like to play too much. Kelly says, does he even get a shower or to eat? This looks like he's doing jobs all day. Right. Because how is he supposed to get all of this done before 9:30 a.m.? Right? And he's supposed to do it chores before leaving. So that means that they kick him out of the house at a certain time and he's got to do everything before he leaves. Right. Yeah. How good point. Did he ever take clothes up there to wash the clothes? I mean, I would think they would be using the laundromat too. Or was that part of Devlin's unspoken chores? This is just the list that we're seeing, folks. I mean, this is just maybe the tip of the iceberg of what he was having to do, you know? And it's bull crap. It's complete and total bull crap. So let's go over here to the way that Devlin was spoken to. by his family members. Okay, so this is Devlin, and he says that he is severely pissed, right? Because of Tammy, right? He's pissed off because of something Tammy did to him or said to him. So his mother says, "What's going on, babe?" He says, "I'll send you the screenshots," right? Poor Devlin. And this is Tammy. "I need you to come home so we can contact your caseworker at DHHS." And he says to her, "No," right? This is no. And I'm sorry, there's like a little thing here, but volume button here. And she says, why not?" She says, "You need to bring your ass out here whether you want to or not." Okay. And sorry, guys, I put them in there a little bit longer so you guys can read them all. "Your caseworker just called for you and she will be calling back at 2 p.m. You better be here. Dot, dot, dot." He says, "You don't order me around like that. If you want me to come out there, you ask. You don't order me around." Amen, Devlin. Hallelujah. Because I'm sorry, you don't treat me like a dog. How dare they? And thank God for this young man for sticking up for himself the way that he did. Hey, Joe, thank God he had enough cojones to stick up to these bullies. I loved seeing that. You're damn right. You don't get to treat me like this, is what he's telling them. He's not being disrespectful to her. He is setting boundaries clearly, in my opinion. Now, just like Tamara is, she likes to talk shit to everybody and she likes to be rude and very inconsiderate. She doesn't treat others as they should be treated. She just treats everybody like shit. I know because I've dealt with her. "If you don't bring your ass out here," she tells him, "I will kick it right out the door when you do come back." "Oh, you never kicked him out or locked him out? You never kicked him out or locked him out? Because that's what you told me in the email that you sent to me. One, that you never abused him. And two, that you never kicked him out or locked him out. That you only lock your door when you use the bathroom or if you're gone. Isn't that what you told me in the email, Tamra? And don't show your fucking face in here because I'll block you. And I can't wait. Because I'm here to tell you, I'm not scared of you. If I told you you need to come to be here at 2 p.m., she says, for a phone call from your caseworker, you better be here or else. Or else, right? 11:45 a.m. Devlin did his chores, went out for the day, and she tells him, "You better be here to get us some money for some food or else." Right here, or else. Or else what? Or else what? Dot, dot, dot. Or else what? What did you do to him? Yeah, Joe, it's open season. Hey, Mama Bear, it's open season because I tried and I tried and I tried with these folks. And they've done nothing but try to do the same thing to me that they did to Devlin, right? Threaten me. Or else what? This is a message that I just wanted to show you how he was being treated by his mother March 30th, 2025 at 6:25. He sends her a post. He tells her, "I love you, Mom." And I thought I put it in here. I must have deleted it on accident when I was doing the video. I'm livid, you guys. You know, I know Joe's been waiting because Joe's been in here every single time we've had, Matt Tate in here talking crap and, like he knows everything, even though everybody knows he was mean to Devlin, treated him like crap, wouldn't let him talk to his mama. And he calls both of them mama, by the way. And I have text messages to prove it. Devlin loved both of his moms, so they need to stop with that bullshit too, because it's enough. Enough is enough. It's not the moms we need to worry about in this one. It's everybody else, in my opinion. So he tells his mom, "I love you, mama," and she says back to him, "I love you too, baby. Are you safe? Was there any major damage anywhere near you today? I've been extremely worried and stressed out over you," right? Because he walks and there was storms. And he tells her that there was some downed trees and somebody lost their boat in the lake this morning, but she says, "But are you good?" And he says, "Yes." Right? So that's what somebody who cares about you says, right? Hey, Detroit, that's what somebody who cares says to you. "Are you okay? I heard there were storms," right? I say that to my friends if I text my friend and my friend lives up, um wherever. I mean, everybody's up. I'm in Florida, so say I had somebody that was up by New York or something, and I said, "Hey, I heard you guys had storms. Are you okay?" That's what we do when we care about somebody. We don't sit there and treat them like dog shit, and then they have to sit there and say, "Don't treat me that way." Hey, Roxy, don't treat me that way. And good for him. So that's an interaction with his mother that they want us to think that she's a horrible, wicked witch of the West. Come to tell you, she ain't the fucking wicked witch you are. Devlin's routine, again, for those of you who missed it. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. Fill the water jugs as needed. And by God, if they were supposed to be filled, you're probably in big trouble. Oh, poor buddy. All right. So, this is his mom. She's a little ticked off, right? Just like me. Sabrina made this list. Mind you, none of these animals belong to Devlin. They belong to Tammy. Going through old messages from what Devlin and I going from through old messages from Devlin and came across that. And I appreciate that, Jessica, because I know it's not easy to read through these. I mean, I'm angry. I'm not his mom. Now, guys, here's where we get to Wednesday, April 9th at 4:27 p.m. Call me right now, please, ASAP. That's Devlin to his mom. She says, "I can't be on the phone right now. What's going on, babe?" Then he says to her, "Going around with Bean, Will, and Tammy." So Bean is Sabrina. That's her nickname, is Bean. Right? So now, this is still Wednesday, April 9th, 6:03 p.m. Hey, question for you. What did you say when Sabrina talked to you about the adult guardianship?
What did you say when Sabrina talked to you about?
Sorry, guys. Let me go back.
What did you say when Sabrina talked to you about the adult guardianship? Question mark.
Okay. So, this is that actual transcript, right, from what he said from his voice text. So not only did his mother send me over the voice text, but she also sent me the transcript. Now tell me she's hiding stuff, because she's not. And this is another thing I wanted to add right here, because when she came on my show, she said to me that she lost her son due to medical neglect, and that's what this paperwork reflects. This is the State of Michigan Court of Appeals. Here's all the information right here. And I'm going to read it to you guys. Let me get it off my phone though, because it's tiny up here. It's too tiny for me to read. So it says, in the matter of Devlin Hatfield, he's a minor, he's a baby, right? This is May 13th, 2008. All right. Respondents appeal as of right from the circuit court order terminating their parental rights to the minor child pursuant, and it gives the numbers, we affirm. The trial court did not clearly err in finding that the statutory grounds for termination were established by clear and convincing evidence, which just is a fancy way of saying that there wasn't any evidence to really support taking the child away from Mr. Hatfield Tim and from Jessica Peckham, right? She was Jessica Hatfield back then because she married Tim, right? And that's Tamara's son, Tim. I've yet to talk to Tim. He's never come up and said anything. He's never said, thank you, Lady Freedom, for covering Devlin's case. He's never told me, to piss off. He's never told me anything. He's never said he was worried about Devlin at all. I did, however, hear from him from his mother, and she said she talked to him and that he is worried about Devlin. So you guys can take that for what it's worth. So either way, they got custody. And it shows that in this paperwork. The child came into the care because respondents neglected his medical needs, just like Jessica said, right? Which included failing to take him to doctor's appointments, which Jessica also said, and because they failed to maintain safe and sanitary housing. Because they failed to keep safe and sanitary housing, although there was conflicting testimony on the state of the respondent's home, right? So even though they're taking this child away from Jessica and Tim, they really didn't even know what the fuck they were talking about. What the hell is this, Michigan? Really? Wow. Right? If you're going to do that, don't you think you should send a reliable source down there to take a look see and maybe take a couple pictures for evidence if they weren't keeping a clean house? But instead you just take the kid away from them. Right? Because that's what I'm reading here. This is my interpretation. Granted, I'm not a lawyer. Granted, I'm not a, divorce court. I'm not a court of appeals for Michigan. Although there was conflicting testimony on the state of the respondent's home, the trial court resolved this issue in favor of the petitioner's witnesses, and this court defers the trial court's assessment of witness credibility. The testimony also showed that respondents lacked reliable transportation, use that as an excuse for not participating in activities under the service plan. However, they could have arranged for transportation with others, including the agency, but failed to take advantage of the available assistance. I think Jessica went over that, and she went over all of that with me and did a recorded conversation with me prior to me sending this to her because she did not have this paperwork. I sent this paperwork to Jessica. I sent it to her after the fact, for the record. They had no means of supporting a child, is what the courts found. Further, the evidence on the whole record did not clearly show that termination of respondents' parental rights was not in the child's best interests. The court did not clearly err on terminating respondents' parental rights to the child. Affirmed, right? So, here's the paperwork. Again, Jessica told me the truth. She didn't have to. And she could have thought to herself, gee, Lady Freedom, it's none of your business. Or, gee, Lady Freedom, why is that important to find my son? because it's important to establish his background and his victimology, right? It's important because he's missing. It wouldn't be important if he wasn't missing. I would never ask anybody this question if he wasn't missing and feel justified in asking somebody about their personal past life. But if you want me to cover this case, I have to know the facts. I have to know from your own experience what happened. And so she was willing on doing that with me, even if it didn't put her in the best light, even if she got her child taken for medical neglect, even though she was only a 19-year-old child, where they said that she can come live with them. And then they treated her like dog shit, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Hey, Sprinkled Donut, good to see you, darling. So, yeah, it is what it is, folks. Don't you dare call me a liar. Don't you dare tell me I'm dragging anybody through the mud, because I'm not. You're doing it fine enough job for me. I don't need to try. Right? So here we go. We got this. And I'm taking the music out, guys. I put some shrill music in. Where is Devlin? Where is Devlin Tate? Where is he? And I have a text message where Tamara, a grown ass lady, is calling Devlin a little baby bitch boy to his mother, mind you, over a text message. Now, where's the justification in that? How do you justify your actions there? Hey, Holly S. I don't know, Sprinkled Donut. I don't know why it hasn't gotten the media attention it deserves, but by golly, we're going to make sure that they start realizing what is going on here. Because this child does not deserve to fall through the cracks when he already did bunches and bunches and bunches of times. And Jessica doesn't make excuses up to me. You know what she says? I failed my son. That's what she says. She doesn't say, oh, well, Devlin deserved it, or, what was I supposed to do? They took all my rights. No, she doesn't. She said, I failed my son, because she was trying to get him down there, but she couldn't. Right? He wanted to go down there, but he got himself into trouble. He's a kid. Right? That's why I say, okay, well, Devlin's a kid. That's why I'm not blaming the kid. I'm not blaming the victim. But trust me, he's a victim. He's a victim of the fucked up system. Did that DHHS lady see that shit was he showing people? Devlin had a backbone. He had to have. The kid was bullied left and right. He wouldn't have survived as long as he did if he didn't. I'm sorry, Jessica. She says I've called the news stations and I get ignored. I believe it because we've seen it over and over again. Stop. Joe, you better stop. Joe says that he feeds his mom cat food and ketchup and then he calls it goulash. He said it's major time saver. Oh, high in protein too, depending on the cat food. Joe. Oh boy. Terry Jackson says, Jessica, the only good part of the story is to know Devlin had your love and knew it. Terry, thank you. Yeah, he's absolutely a victim, C. Taylor, no, and nobody likes to be the victim. Nobody likes to be called the victim, because Devlin's a strong kid. In my opinion, when I look at that kid, I see a tough kid right there. I see a kid that had to deal with a lot from people who were supposed to love him. And only certain people gave him a decent life. But you're going to sit there and you're going to blame Jessica and say she didn't raise her son, that Sandra and Bill did, but Devlin was taken out of their custody and care for a time back in 2016 and 17. Oh, Sherry Lynn. Oh, we let Joe be as bad as he wants to be over here because he makes me laugh. He does. He makes me laugh. He's so funny. And I need a laugh today because, goodness sakes, Roxy says, "Damn Joe." He's a survivor. He's a warrior. This kid's a warrior too. Yeah, Leslie, keeping it real. Sorry, I clicked on it twice there. Yeah, he's a survivor for sure. You know what? Devlin deserved to be in an environment where he could feel safe, right? Because when he went out and he was walking on the streets, it's rough out there, right? And when you come home, you at least need to have the sanctuary of your own home. But he didn't have that. He was expected to work like a slave for them. He didn't have any animals. It wasn't, Devlin, you have this dog, and we told you if we got you a dog, that you needed to take care of him and feed him and stuff like that. It wasn't anything like that. Those were her animals that he was responsible for caring for. Oh, and by the way, scoop the shit up too. Scoop the animal's poop too while you're at it. Hey, I'm just saying it like it is. I'm sorry it's not to your liking. Kelly Hokum says, so do we think Devlin is hiding out somewhere or something more nefarious is going on? Kelly, I haven't made my mind up. I haven't because, this kid had every reason to run away, right? He also had a court date the very next day, which he had a ride and everything set up for. He was nervous for it, but by all accounts, and like I said, I'm trying to piece everything together with what everyone's telling me, corroborating certain pieces, right? Because if, Jessica says, yeah, Matt said, yeah, Tamara says, yeah, I'm like, fucking A, that's awesome. Because, if they're all saying different stuff, then it's tough, right? So those are the easy ones. So, in my opinion, everybody thought that Devlin was, fine with going to court. He was scared to go, right? He didn't want to go, but that's a completely different thing than skipping out and running away from it. So I do have to consider that, but we don't know anything for sure. We don't know anything for sure. I don't presume to know everything, because I don't. And I'm going to get stuff wrong. I mean, it's my opinion. I'm a YouTuber. What's really why I think there might be something more nefarious, Kelly, is because I'm a YouTuber with like 3,000 people and I only stream on this platform. Like I could totally be on TikTok all day, and I need to be. I need to bring Devlin's case to TikTok. I need to bring it all over the place because for them to be worried about me, little old me, that says that something more nefarious had to have gone on. Right? Because they would be like, "This girl's crazy as hell. She doesn't know what she's talking about." But no, they're not saying that. Quite the opposite. What are you worried about me for? My mouth? Are you kidding me? And I'm showing receipts. I'm not going to come up here and not show receipts. Aw, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Andrea. I'm sending you love and hugs and prayers too. I'm sorry, guys. Life is so hard. You know what I'm saying? And, they make it worse on somebody. Detroit Rock City says, and to think I was giving them the benefit of the doubt, I was feeling empathy and giving them a chance. Detroit, I'm right there with you, girlfriend. I am right there with you. This is really pucked up. Nice. In my opinion, I need to go listen later to see what I missed. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Detroit. I mean, that's the thing. Of course, I wanted to give them an opportunity to speak. I'm not going to be unfair with their family. My heart goes out to their family. I feel sorry for them. I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think everybody's involved. Like, I'm not some crazy conspiracy theorist either, but I do see patterns that we see in true crime, and it's very concerning to me. It's absolutely concerning. And C. Taylor says, absolutely, Devlin is strong and has been victimized and has survived a lot already. Yeah, absolutely. So, when I look at a tough kid like this, I'm like, he could be somewhere hiding. He could be hiding out somewhere. I can't discount him, but what really pisses me off too is you got his family members who were selling signs and t-shirts and right here they say, "Have you seen me? I need your help and I am lost." And these are what the family made, right? He didn't get lost. Tamara herself, it breaks my heart, Holly. It breaks my heart. Um, it really does. And I mean, I hate to even do it, but like put a one in chat if you want to sleep on the floor. I bet you I won't see any ones. You guys don't even have to do anything, right? Just the lack of ones should let us all know the answer. Ain't nobody want to sleep on the floor. Come on. Joe says, Andrea, get a social worker in there to tell your dad what's what in a kind way. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I know he gave good advice then, though. He did, Andrea. We love him, right? It's like Joe always he brings the personality to the chat, that's for sure. Um, yeah, absolutely. I will share it. Women's Warrior for sure. You can post it in the chat if you want to. I don't know though. There might be some weirdos in here tonight. So this one up here in the striped shirt. Yep. You better not talk to Brandon Orman. You better not talk to this person. I can talk to whoever I want, Miss Thing. You know? I don't know who she thinks she is. It's crazy. Yeah, it's in all the states, right? It's a state-run thing, Miss Anne. It is. It is. Jessica says, there's no way in hell my son ran away. I would have heard from him by now. I agree with that, Jessica. You're right. That's another thing his friend said too. Hell, Sabrina said it, and so did Tamra to the news. He wouldn't be gone this long without calling someone, right? Whether it's going to be Sandra, whether it was you, whether it was his friend that he grew up with, right? Any of those people, because the thing about Devlin is that he liked to call people. He liked to call people, right? And he wanted to see how they were doing, right? Hey, what you doing? There was voice text that I got from Jessica, hey, how are you? What are you doing? Like just like that. And he say question mark, just like he was saying in the one clip about, what happened with the guardianship or, what was said. And he said question mark after that. So every single question somebody and he'd send them a voice text, he'd say, how are you doing? Question mark, like that. Um, just breaks my heart. Yeah, Andrea says no, Jessica. I don't think he ran away either, in my opinion. Thanks, guys. Detroit says he had to do all the dirty work because they were too lazy to get off their ass and do it themselves. I agree. I agree. And by the way, make sure that you get your food stamp card so that way we can eat off of your food stamp card too. Because they have accounted for what he spent in April, but they haven't shown me any indication that they weren't taking every bit of his money every month. I haven't seen receipts from them for nothing. They expect me to believe them when I've caught them in lies. Carrie Jackson says, I don't think there is a video of him Monday morning. I would be curious who's seen him at church Easter. Jessica last talked to him on Saturday. Devlin would have called her if he was able to. Well, and that's a good point, Carrie. That's a very good point. I think we need proof of life for Devlin because anybody could have used his bridge card. Anybody could have, right? And I'm sorry, but it's very curious when I see Sabrina just smiling and sitting in her mom's wheelchair. I'm not that kind of person, she says. Well, you're proving that you're kind of a person that doesn't have a backbone enough to come out and talk to anybody. You moved after stealing money and you got away with it. And then you move over to Lansing, where you, quote, are living your best life. And that's what you said, not what I did, dear. I know, Jessica. Well, and I just have to be fair and balanced in the show. I do. But when I ask them a question and they want to turn around and get mad at me and start blaming everybody, and when I won't listen to them blaming everybody and I hold them to the question and they still don't want to answer it and they just threaten me, well, you better not be talking to this one. Why not? What are you afraid of if the truth is that nothing happened? So what are you afraid of? You know? I don't understand the police not doing a damn thing either. I don't understand it. There's something that had to have been they have to know more, because I will say the SAR maps, I mean, it looks like they were really trying, and that's me giving them the benefit of the doubt. I know. And, I'm typically burned. I get burned when I do it, right? But I still will do that in order to be fair. From what I know, but I will say it's gone on far too long, right? He's still out there missing. Mm. Choochie, damn. She says there's shit in their pants because they know that we know what this shit is going to come out little by little. Yep. And they don't want it exposed, in my opinion. That's it. But I'm giving them the opportunity, and I just asked a question. They could have just said, I don't have a comment for you on that, but instead, it's the threats, you know? Mm, they do howl, yes. And really, I think Chris Proudfoot met his match with Tamara. She is a feisty one. She does. I can't believe she hasn't made the rounds on YouTube. You know, he would not call his mom. I agree, Carrie Jackson. I agree. Joe, you want to sleep on the floor? Joe, why did I did not see that one coming. I'm surprised I didn't though. That's hilarious. All right. Well, Joe likes sleeping in the floor and or on the floor rather. Angel Lyons, good to see you. I know there was something off after the sister when she did the Crime Time Buzz interview. Yeah, that was a big one, right? Angel Lyons and I will say Jay is a sweetheart. I know Jay from talking with her. We did a collaboration after. We did it on Sebastian Rogers and Leslie. And you know, it's yeah, or get a mat or something. Aw. Oh, hey, Sandy. Oh my goodness. Hey, hon. I hope you're doing well. I'll be praying for you. Yeah, I think it's major. I mean, I've known a lot about this, but I wanted to get everybody's side of things. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to just come up here and be like, well, this person said this, da da da. I wanted to get information together. Yeah, really, Miss Ann. I'm right there with you. Oh my gosh. It's like you have to have something, especially, oh my gosh, bad back or something like that. Forget it. Tina, he was going to court for a probation violation, according to Matt, and then according to Tamara, it was about the domestic violence against Sandra. And they wouldn't elaborate on what it was that occurred, but from what I heard, Devlin wasn't even in the house that night. He was on a FaceTime with Jessica. So, and we're going to talk more with Jessica about that. I'm planning another live with her as well. So, she thinks she can bully you like she did Devlin. I know, Leslie. And I'm like, what in the world? Right? Because I was like, hello, I'm trying to give you a voice, sister, and you're over here, you know, threatening me. I had better not talk to this person or that person. Well, if that person reached out to me, then I think that person maybe wants to be heard. And that other person that reached out to me of Devlin's friends is too afraid to get up here. And that child is very articulate, right? And I call her a child. She's 19, but she's still a child to me. And when I hear her speak about Devlin and what he went through, and that Matt was always on his case, right? Always bullying him. It's out there for everyone to see on Facebook. So if you're pissed off that people are talking about the things that you did to Devlin, then why did you do it in the first place? It's all over the internet. You're the one that put it out there, not me. I didn't tease Devlin. You did. He didn't have any money. Elisa P, that's the thing. Did Devlin have money coming in that they could have stolen from him? You know, he did some odd jobs here and there, but he was saying to the crowd of people that he was hanging out with over at Bob's Barn Jams, um, yeah, he didn't have any money to fix his phone. And I think that's the first thing he would have done, especially because he used his phone all the time and he also used it like to sing with. And so, yeah, I think he would have fixed his phone first thing with any money he would have had. And plus, he had restitution costs for court, you know, because they say, I need your help and I am lost. Bullshit. But Tamara herself was in the chat telling us why Devlin got in trouble one time, right? The breaking and entering, the B&E or illegal entry, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. According to Tamara, which it's, you know, hearsay, Tamara, it's hearsay, right? All hearsay from you, because Devlin's not here to defend himself either now, is he? And he's the one that I'm interested in covering, not anybody else. So, yeah, Devlin's not lost because Devlin walked to a friend's house a county away in the middle of the night, walked over there to meet him for breakfast, got there too early. His friend said, why don't you go break in someplace and sleep, have a nap? And so he did, and then he got in trouble. So he's not lost. Quit playing him like he's some lost little kid, some lost kid with autism and cerebral palsy and da, 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 da. God only knows which of those ailments he even actually had. I know for a fact that his mother has the same deletion as he does. Other than that, the autism does, I mean, we see it with Sebastian. It's the same chromosome deletion, Q627, right? And autism does go hand in hand with that. And the 24 hours before proof of life is important. I agree. I agree. And we know the church that he went to, so I wonder if he sat with anybody, you know? That's the one thing I've been wondering too. So if anybody is listening to this and you sat with Devlin at church or you spent Easter with Devlin, could you please email me at ladyfreedomsrawNarratives@gmail.com? That's my channel name minus the apostrophe. Because I would love to know what kind of a day Devlin had on Easter, seeing how he went to the church by himself and, you know, went and ate and his family was nowhere with him, right? Because I asked Matt, well, did you go to the church with him? And he said, no. He said, I haven't left my house. I have agoraphobia. It reminded me of that show that they redid. It's called Shameless. And the lady had agoraphobia and she was played by Joan Cusack and it's the funniest shit. But I mean, it's a real disease people have. They don't leave their house. Carrie Jackson says, I was asked, or when I asked Jessica if I could share something, and she said, until my son is found, share away. Well, exactly. Yeah. Because I mean, people do need privacy, and I understand that. But the fact of the matter is, if I have a mother who says, hey, I'll tell you how it went down. I was getting bad information from the sources that I had been working with originally on this case. And I realized that they were giving me their opinions rather than giving me screenshots and proof and evidence that I can share with you guys. Right? So I was talking with Kiki over at Kiki 2025 True Crime on YouTube here. And she said, I just think that the next step, because I asked her if she wanted to collab, we were going to collab on this. And she goes, I just think the next step is talking to his mother. Well, I was told that his mother didn't want to say anything because she was afraid of the Tates, and she didn't want to come out yet. She was being threatened, da 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 da, this and that and the other. Well, I just took it upon myself to reach out to Jessica on Facebook. And it was probably a half hour later, if that she texted me right back and says, I've been trying to get help and someone to let me talk on their platform about my son being missing. And I was like, holy cow. So I was lied to, right? I was lied to. So guilty knowledge at the very least. So that's how it went down. And she has done nothing but tell me the truth, in my opinion. Now, can somebody get a date wrong here or there? Yeah, sure. But that's not just like lying to lie, right? Lying to hide shit. No, she might get it wrong. I might get it wrong, right? Yeah, that's true, Sprinkle Donut. I always say those who have nothing to hide, hide nothing. Right, exactly. And they certainly don't threaten someone who's trying to help. I'm gonna be posting that, Jessica, but I'll send it to you too. Um, I can send it to you. Give me just 1 second here. Because I'm only gonna post the part that Hannah came up with, but if you want to watch the entire live, then you can do that. Okay, hold on, because I want to get this over to you. Uh, okay. Oh yeah, I forgot, Joe. That's true. Being in the army, yeah, yep. Did you get to ask Tamara why she evicted Christian? No, no, because she was upset about me asking about why Devlin was taken out of the care of Sandra and Bill in 2016 and 2017. So Jessica says he was on probation because of a false domestic violence charge against Sandra. They're the same exact thing. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chuchi. I just sent her the one that I sent you is just link for the live. Was church in Lake Odessa or Hastings? That's a good question too, Carrie Jackson. I have Matt said it in a live stream which church it actually is. So good question. Detroit Rock City asks, so what happened to his SSI checks or anything he was getting from the state? If he was eligible for food stamps, he was eligible for other state funds. he would have had to have his own caseworker, in my opinion. Thanks, Detroit. And I agree. Yeah. Yeah. And he is a vulnerable person, you know? So, yeah, big time Holly S. Big time red flags everywhere, you know? 18 or not, and that's my thinking, but a judge deemed him completely okay to take care of himself. At least they did. Um, oh, that's interesting. Detroit says I couldn't speak for my grandson after he turned 18. We were his legal guardians, and after he turned 18, he was considered an adult and had to answer for himself. That's what they did for for Devlin as well. You know? Oh yeah. Yeah, she liked to have went over and told Orman, he better be watching his steps. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you, Jess. Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of language they use to people, and it's a direct threat. So if I was a 19-year-old little girl, I'd be scared too, right? But I'm not. So, you know. Oh, fish and chips. That sounds good, little Miss Sharon. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you to Mr. Orman. Thank you. AJ is bouncing off the walls. That's funny. Yeah. So, and that's the thing too. I appreciate. I do appreciate Jessica coming forward because it is a lot. It's a lot to go over the past. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot to bring it up. It's not fun, but she's never once blamed anything that she was responsible for on anybody else besides herself. And in my opinion, that's the person that I want to work with. I don't want to work with people who are bullies, right? And who bully Devlin. I don't appreciate it at all, as a matter of fact, right? So, um, whenever I asked, let's see, Thursday, October 9th, I asked Tamra about Devlin's removal from Bill and Sandra in 2016 and 17. Right? So it's a problem for me when my original conversation with excuse me, Tamra was about how Jessica didn't raise her son and how her parents, right, Tamra's parents, Sandy and Bill raised Devlin, but he was taken out of their care when he was 10 years old. So how is that, raising Devlin? It sounds like they raised him for half of his life, and then the other half he was bounced around from house to house, right? So that's what it sounds like to me. So of course I was just trying to ask her, right? There was something that was brought to my attention, right? That Devlin went to go live with Gordon and Tasha Tate in 2016 or 17, right? And let's see. Oh, it was also said that Devlin was bounced around between the family members and didn't return to Sandra's house until after Bill passed away, right? And Bill passed away in 2023. So I wanted to ask you, before I discussed this abuse, did you know anything about this? Is this true? I know this isn't easy, and I understand if you don't want to comment. I want to make sure I have as much information as possible before I speak on the subject, and in no way am I accusing anyone. I am just sharing what I heard, right? So let me see. All right, hold on. I can go ahead. I bet you I can share this. Yeah, there we go. All right. So this is the beginning of the email thread. I started an entire new email thread in order to speak on this subject away from everything that we were speaking of to begin with, right? Her telling me about Devlin, um, all of that, right? But I purposely went to this subject. Let me move it over here in order for me to understand, because it was brought to my attention that Devlin went to live with Gordon and Tasha because he went to the doctor and he wouldn't stop having accidents in his pants. The doctor said it looked like Devlin had been raped by someone, right? But they suspected Bill. So they removed Devlin and put him in the care of Gordon and his wife. It was also said that Devlin was bounced around between the family members and didn't return to Sandra's house until after Bill passed away. I wanted to ask you before I discuss this abuse, do you know anything about this? Is it true? I don't know, or excuse me, I know it isn't easy, and I understand if you don't want to comment. I want to make sure I have as much information as possible before I speak on the subject, and in no way am I accusing anyone. I'm just sharing what I heard. Thank you. Right? And then I sign it with my name. Right? Yeah, it's terrible, Holly. I can't help it. Right? I'm trying my best to accommodate liars and abusers, right? I let Matt in my chat and let him say what he wanted to say. Yeah, this is the thanks I get. So, this is her reply. She replies to me. I wrote her this on October 9th. She waits until October 11th to respond. Trisha, oh yes, I know the whole situation behind this story, which should never have been brought to anyone's attention. Really? Why not? Why not? And sadly, you were misinformed on a lot of information that you have been given. Devlin was never raped or molested, and no doctor ever said he was. Dot, 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 dot. So where's the proof? Right? Because I have someone with firsthand knowledge telling me that that's what happened. And I have a mother telling me the first time I ever spoke to her that she was contacted by the Michigan State Police about this very subject, right? About this very subject. If you are getting your information from Brandon Orman, I suggest you stop at once. You suggest I stop at once? Oh, maybe she's not the Wicked Witch. What is she, the Queen of Hearts? You must stop this at once. I don't think so. I don't think so. You need to stop lying at once. You need to start taking a look in the mirror for once. He is a low-life ex-son-in-law. Oh, really? Because last time I checked, he has a successful business. What kind of business do you run? The disability game? Pathetic. Right? Gordon's a son-in-law of her brother Gordon, who can't stop doing drugs. Right? Here she goes attacking Brandon Orman. And I had said nothing about anybody in this. It's been brought to my attention right? I didn't say who brought it to my attention, right? So how do you know that Brandon had anything to do with anything? Oh, that's right. Because you were in my chat trying to push a bunch of lies and bullshit about Devlin and victim blaming him. And Mr. Orman stood up for Devlin. That's right. That's right. All right. Oh, and just so you guys know, Brandon has visitations with his daughters, and that has nothing. It sickens me, as a matter of fact. It sickens me because Brandon isn't the one who lost a child. You guys are, right? But let's blame it on Brandon some more and tell me Brandon's whole friggin' life story. Why? Because he's standing up for Devlin? I think so. Brandon has stirred the shit, or stirred what I call the shit pot many times, and he has been put in his place. Guys, I think we have a female Proudfoot on our hands right here. This sounds like something that Chris would say, in my opinion. Right? Right? Oh, I like to call it the shit pot. Well, what do you call your house? I call your house a fucking shit pot. How's that? Several people are looking at lawsuits for slander for trying to run us through the mud already. And I'm tired of defending my family when we shouldn't have to be defended. Defend against what? I simply asked you, and I said I'm not making any accusations or accusing anyone. I'm just sharing what I heard. And then you are going completely off on somebody that, I probably didn't even know at the time, right? But you're still going off on him because he's giving me the information and accounting his experience, right? But you feel on the defensive. Why is that? Devlin was never abused in any way, but was often the abuser. Hmm. Okay. Devlin was never abused in any way, and he was often the abuser. Let's look at Exhibit 1, shall we? Night Court, Lady Freedom. Let's see here. I need you to come home so we can contact your DHS caseworker. No. Why not? You need to bring your ass out here whether you want to or not. Your caseworker just called for you and she will be calling back at 2 p.m. You better be here. How come she couldn't call his phone, Tamra? How come she couldn't call his phone? Why did you have to be there, Tamra, so you could steal his food stamps? Guys, Devlin's 18 years old. 18 years old. He had to sleep outside. That's abuse. Right? And then here's what she tells him. If or excuse me, here's what he says to her. You don't order me around like that. If you want me to come out there, you should ask, don't order me around. Right? Who's the abuser? Who's the abuser? I think a 5-year-old watching Sesame Street can be given the scenario and figure out who the abuser is. Quit playing with me. Quit trying to get angry with me when I don't believe your shit, Tamra. Right? I told you you need to be here at 2 p.m. for a phone call from your caseworker. You better be here or else. Or else what? Or else what? Let's not forget the chore list. Sickening. Absolutely sickening. I'm so mad. IML, hey IML. Oh my gosh, I'm just like I'm livid. I'm livid to control his money. to control him and his money and make sure he says the right things to the caseworker, right? Don't you dare tell me that you did not hurt this child before he went missing. That remains to be seen whether you hurt this child afterwards. So she says again, Devlin was never abused in any way, but often the abuser. This is why Jessica played head games with Devlin about wanting him there. She didn't know if she wanted him around AJ. She was afraid he might get mad and abuse him. That's a bold-faced lie. Devlin laid his hands on both of our parents multiple times, often resulting in the police being called. When Devlin turned 18, he was informed that if he laid his hands on them now, he would be an adult and the consequences would be much steeper than just probation or community service. He got away with the physical abuse too many times. When he did it as an adult, he found out what we had been trying to teach him. This time, he did some jail time with probation and court costs, mostly probation fines, and he had to report to a PO. Yes, Devlin was looking at a probation violation because he got in trouble with the law to other counties, excuse me, in 2 other counties, but because of his disabilities was not looking at jail time in either Berry or Eaton counties. Right? Right? Okay, so that kind of answers our question there too, Carrie, according to, um, no, married. He was married to one of Gordon's stepdaughters. Looking very sus, Holly. Detroit says, wow, lady, I thought that from the beginning with the relationship with Matt and other people in the family, and it could be why he was picked on so badly to put fear in him and keep him speaking. I agree. And, it's so sad. It is absolutely sad. Women's Warrior says, in my opinion, the buck stops here. We need to contact Ellie and demand a full investigation of this family, and we need to cement every red flag, all of the evidence of abuse, guys. Um, let's kick Ellie's ass into gear. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how they don't know, you know? And I think they're stealing his money. They stole his money that they raised for a reward fund. Sabrina did. What was the date of the food stamp text with Tamra? That was April 9th. That was April 9th. Oh, sorry. No, actually, let me make sure. April 9th was when they were talking about the guardianship. My bad. Let's see. February 20th. Hold on. Let me make sure I got that. I'll share it really quick with you guys. Yeah, February 20th, 2025. Right? And he's texting his mom. Bear with me. Yeah, February 20th, 2025. I'm severely pissed the fuck off right now, thanks to Tammy. And that's Devlin saying that to his mom, which I don't condone that kind of language, young man, but you know what? This poor this poor kid. I mean, you know, oh Christ. Joe says, Lady Freedom, was Devlin aware of his abuse, who his abuser was? I believe so, Joe. I do. I think that Devlin just loved everybody. You know what I mean? I think he wanted that love from everybody, and he wasn't getting it from most of the people in his life. But yeah, so he says, she goes, what's going on, babe? That's his mom. And he says, I'll send you the screenshots. And then they were talking about the DHS, right? DHHS, excuse me. All right. So we got that cleared up. I said, Tam, I understand you don't like Jessica and obviously Brandon since I saw your interaction in my chat. I chose not to read it out loud because I hadn't gotten a response back to this email at that time. I would really love for you to tell me more about Devlin being removed from Bill and Sandra. So I ask her again. I'm asking her again. Could you please tell me the truth and what's going on here? Right? That has been alleged and confirmed by multiple sources, not just Jessica and Brandon. People send me receipts and they know I don't believe hearsay. I appreciate your position, but I will speak to any and everyone who offers information in the disappearance of Devlin. I won't stop until he's found, and neither will many. Thanks for helping, Trisha. And then I replied back again and I said, also, could you elaborate on Devlin's criminal history? His behaviors are important to understand. I know you talked about it in the chat, but it would help me to know more about the living situation and how it came to be. I'm building a timeline and would appreciate your help. Thank you. Right? And this is what she sends me back. How can anyone allege and confirm outside of immediate family only, and Brandon and Jessica don't count? You say they have to show proof to back up what they say, then you show me the proof that you received. Not a chance, Tamra. Not a chance. My sources are confidential. And that's exactly what I say to her here. The proof I have is confidential. Anything I gather will be shared with law enforcement to help find Devlin. I understand if you don't want to talk about it. I just want to give you the opportunity to speak on it. Right? And here she sends me this. I'm sorry, but I don't feel the information needs to be shared with anyone, nor does it need mention on your podcasts. It has nothing to do with Devlin's disappearance. It pisses me off that you want to cover for people who want to bring shit up that they have no business mentioning, especially since they only think that they knew. Only since they especially sorry guys, especially since they only think they know what went on, such as yourself. You don't have all the facts. You have third party hearsay, so you come to us for answers. You want facts and you can sign a paper that you won't ever make mention of this again or you will have a lawsuit. The records you seek are all private and our daddy isn't here anymore to give them to you. Right? Total CP move. Yeah, I thought Chris was bad. I thought he was, I was like, didn't think anybody was gonna topple old crispy stepfoot. Yeah, Roxy. Matt's an RSO for sure. He is definitely him and Lorraine, his wife. It's right here, right? Those are his charges, right? I didn't do it. Don't get pissy with me because your family did some shit. It's not my fault. Or Devlin, right? So again, she wants me to sign a paper that I won't ever make mention of this again, right? Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath, right? Because it is important to understand what was going on in the household, especially when you tell me that your parents raised Devlin, but they didn't, right? It was pretty much a group effort between your parents, Gordon and his wife, right? And Tamra and Sabrina. But Sabrina's only 27, right? So it's not like she's, equipped to be taking care of Devlin either. She's very immature. If she's stealing money from the, reward fund and stuff like that, then that means that she doesn't have money, right? She need to fix her car. I get it. But she still took that money that was meant for Devlin and fixed her car with it, right? If she can't fix her own fucking car, how is she taking care of Devlin, right? The courts probably thought he'd fare better on his own. I can't even blame him. Look at who he's living with. Look at what he's going through. You know? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Because I asked, and she still hasn't answered my question, right? She just wants to fight back and forth. And I said, I can mention anything I wish to mention on my podcast. Like I said, everything I share on my channel is based on proof that has come to me from sources I wish to keep private, right? So if Brandon Orman was married to Gordon's stepdaughter at that time, he was in the family at that time. So anything that Brandon chooses to share with me is his own experience from when he was there. So it's firsthand knowledge. First of all, Tamara, understand what you're talking about before you start trying to argue back and forth with me, because you're wrong right there. It's firsthand knowledge from him, what he saw with his two eyes, what he heard with his two ears, right? Firsthand knowledge. It's not hearsay. What Jessica is accounting to me is receiving a phone call when Devlin is 10 years old from the Michigan State Police. From the Michigan State Police. If I want to have her on my podcast so she can tell me what it was like to get a phone call from the Michigan State Police and find out that Devlin's adoptive parents, one of them was doing such things to him, and she wants to tell me about it, there ain't a judge on the planet that would side with you. No how. They'd see right through your bullshit. And the police need to know that you're doing this and that you're going around person to person to person and stirring the shit pot, like you like to call it. Quit blaming others and look at yourself. Because I came to you first off and asked you a question, and it's October 12th, and I reached out to you on October 9th, and you're still feeding me bullshit on the 12th and haven't answered my question. Right? But you like to tell me how pissed off you are. I don't own anything, and my channel only has 3,000 subscribers. The truth isn't slander. Makes me wonder why you are attacking me for trying to help Devlin. His mother wants his story out, and that is who I am working with to find him. I asked you for your side because of what your family members said in my comments and in my chat. That's why understanding that it's my understanding that Brandon Orman married Gordon's stepdaughter and he was there. If he wants to share what he knows about what happened, you can't stop free speech. I am more than willing to work with you, but if you ever threaten me again, I'm going straight to the police. I can take legal action against you too. I'm not going to, because you are, excuse me, I'm not trying to cause you any more pain. I believe you want to find Devlin too, or I wouldn't talk to you. I have been asking for all of your all of you to work together, and I have you coming into my chats getting upset when Devlin went missing from sorry, meant to say your house. I have entertained Matt, who I know what he did to Ashley, but if you can help find Devlin, I'm not going to call him a predator. I'm not going to call him the predator that I really think he is, because that's not helping. I would appreciate if you stop blaming everyone else and start telling the truth. Right? So I just want the truth and her to stop blaming everyone else. I'm not asking everyone else. They're so sick. It's sick. It's sick. And then I got a message from Gordon telling me I better be careful who I listen to. Yeah. And, sometime in this time frame, Brandon's getting a whole bunch of threatening messages from Tamara too. She's got all the time to threaten everybody in the world, but she ain't looking for her uh, brother, right? She's not looking for Devlin. She's too busy doing damage control. Yeah, Chris McDonough would have a field day with this. He really would. He really would. And I'll tell you, all I had to do was hear what she told Jay on Crime Time Buzz, and I knew something's not right here. She's cutting this kid off from electric, not letting him do anything at the house. I didn't know how bad it was, but I knew it was bad. She didn't deny it in the email. She didn't want you to talk about it, in my opinion. Absolutely, Chuchi. 100%. And that's what it comes down to. Elisa P says the police need to get on it. They've done something. They only wanted to scam money on this. They never wanted the truth to come out or Devlin to be found. And I agree with that, Elisa. I agree with that because they're not looking for him. They made t-shirts saying, "I'm lost." The kid's not lost. He doesn't, he's directionally, I think he does pretty damn well for himself. Hey, Adam Forever 21. And I don't know if you've gotten a load of this, Adam Forever 21, but this is some shit right here. As a foster mother, I don't know what you're thinking, but I would love to know what you think. Yeah, she's hiding something, or she wouldn't be so defensive. Right. Right, because the conversation went south really, really fast. Right? And again, I was just asserting that, you're not going to talk to me like that, just like Devlin did. But she just gets nastier and nastier and nastier. You know? Here's where she says, I have in no way threatened you. That was a promise. Just because Brandon was there does not mean he has facts or proof, which I have already pointed out to him. So this is the time where she's um and this is going to be on my phone, guys, because I'm not going to pull it up all the way, but I'll read you some of what she sent over to Brandon. All right. Brandon may have married Gordon's stepdaughter, but that doesn't make him family either. Well, actually, it does. Actually, it does. Just because you don't consider somebody a human being and a person doesn't make them not one, right? Just because you like to trample all over people and you like to threaten people and you like to go after people doesn't mean that it's deserved, warranted, or anything like that. It just means that you are a bully. Brandon, excuse me, ask him how he could have his girls at Gordon's when Matt and Lorraine were both there. Oh, really? How could you even talk to Matt when he did what he did to your daughter? Please, please. Because I'm here to tell you, you've allowed Matt to be all over this case, right? Because you were talking to Matt and telling Matt what to say in my chat. I have proof of that because Matt told me that. So now what? You're the one stirring the shit pot, not me. I don't see how digging into the past is helping find Devlin at all. It's not. So then I say like this to her. I say, "Okay, I'm done talking to you. It's clear to me you want to blame others for what your daddy did to Devlin. What you did to Devlin, what your daughter did to Devlin, I have screenshots and proof of everything. I was giving you the courtesy to tell me your side, but now with the hostility, I can see it's all true and you just don't want the truth out. I will continue to be Devlin's voice and show what kind of house he lived in. I'm sorry the facts upset you. That's not my problem. It's yours. Like I said, there is nothing left to say. I'm not arguing with you anymore. Uh, this nonsense has gone on for days and I don't have time for it. And she sends me this. You better listen to me right now and listen good. Oh, shit. All right. So she sends this over and she says, uh, so Brandon, keep talking your shit. You're going to have a lawsuit if you don't stop. I'm sick of you starting shit when you don't deserve even to have all the or excuse me, when you don't even have all of the facts. That's third party hearsay that you're spewing as facts. I don't know what you think you gotta or excuse me, I don't know why you think you gotta keep stirring shit with my family. We just want to find Devlin, not have our names dragged through the shitholes you and others like creating. I don't give two fucks what you think of my family. You're no better than anyone else. At the end of the day, Matt is still our brother, whether you or anyone else likes it or not. I will never have the close relationship that I used to have with him. That was not something that needed mentioning on social media. Bringing my daughter into this was not necessary. I hate to tell you, but I knew about your daughter far before anything, and Brandon and I never discussed anything about that. We've only discussed Devlin, and that's it. You can go on the internet, and it's public knowledge what Lorraine and Matt both did to your daughter, Ashley. So again, quit playing. Quit playing. Right? Because it's all bull crap. So she says, uh, bringing my daughter into it was not necessary. He didn't. You don't know me, and likewise, I don't know you, but I'm here to tell you you'd better watch your steps. You'd better watch your steps. Right? I don't believe I've done anything wrong, Brandon says. She says, yes, that's you and all you're about. Because he sent a poop emoji, which was funny as hell, by the way. Um, So Brandon says, what did I do? Everything that I have said, which is very little, has been the truth. And that's the truth. He said very little. Um, as a matter of fact, he's just trying to stand up for Devlin, and I appreciate him tremendously for it. Especially when you guys want to sit there and play your little games back and forth and threaten people and, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. It's ludicrous. All right, guys, trigger warning. Trigger warning. And these are messages from Tamra and Brandon. Brandon says, what did I do? Everything that I have said, which is very little, has been the truth. Is it just a coincidence that Devlin had genital warts at 13 and your daddy did too? And Tamra writes back, he would have been about 10, not 13. And yes, it was a coincidence since Devlin had that HPV virus, and exam results provided that Devlin had never been molested. See now where you are talking shit that you haven't had the facts to support it, question mark, dot, 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 dot. So she just admitted that Devlin wasn't 13 when this happened. He was 10. And Jessica told me that when the Michigan State Police called her, Devlin was 10, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, that's the math says that he would have been 10, right? But they told her that this had been going on since he was 4. 4 years old. 4 years old. 4 years old. And Brandon replies, for one who was talking shit, for two, or excuse me, for one who was talking shit, and for two, was he removed from your parents then? Right? Valid question, right? She says, you just assumed our daddy was guilty when when in fact is innocent, and he's not even here to defend himself anymore. She plays that card all the time. She plays that card all the time. Oh, well, he's not here anymore. Well, I'm sorry that Devlin went missing in 2025 and your father passed away in 2023. That doesn't make me feel good to have to bring this up, but by God, if it helps find Devlin and it helps people understand his story better, you're not going to stop me. It's ridiculous. And you admitted it in your own words. So why was he taken? Again, was asked, and that's all I asked. And he asks her again, and she says that you just assumed he was guilty. And she says that makes you the biggest piece of shit there is. And then she says that was CPS who did that without having facts. So CPS took Devlin, according to Tamra, and they didn't have all the facts. Well, if I knew that a child had something like that, and so did an adult in the household or anybody who had it in the household, I would just obviously think that whoever was in the household had contact with Devlin if they both have that disease. Hello? Hello? Right? So CPS took Devlin, she says. They made daddy leave the home, so he was living here in my driveway in his car. Bet you didn't know that either. She goes on to say CPS got themselves in a lot of trouble with the judge because of mishandling of Devlin's case. Hmm. Hmm. I knew he was made to leave, and there were other things that led up to the investigation to begin. Oh, excuse me. This is Brandon talking again, guys. Sorry. I knew he was made to leave, and there were other things that led up to the investigation and to begin with, like him all of a sudden just using the bathroom in his pants for no apparent reason. Right? So she says, you could have come and talked to me about things instead of spreading more shit on a podcast. He's never come on my podcast to speak. But you bet your butt, right, that I want him to come on and speak. I mean, I do. Because I think that you're admitting this to everybody, but you don't want people to know about it. So tell me again how you're going to get a judge to sue any of us. You're not. You're not, because you'll be looking at a counter lawsuit. And yes, all of this is going to be shared with law enforcement. He says that I didn't say shit on there. And then Tamra says back to him, it wasn't all of a sudden. He had been doing it for a very long time. Oh, since he was 4? Since he was 4? And Brandon says that's lies. He said lies. He was doing good for a long time. He was doing good for a long time. Just makes me absolutely sick. Tamara replies back. She says, "Don't even don't even start to try and use that. He did not get it from skin to skin contact either. No, he wasn't doing good for a long time." She replies back to his post where he says he was doing good for a long time. She replies back, "No, he wasn't. How would you know anyway if he were doing good or not? Because he was married into the family. That's why." "How would I not? I have seen him quite often. I never seen you one time," Brandon says. She says he was hiding his shitty underwear in the bottom of his clothes basket in his closet. And then she says, "Exactly, Brandon. You never seen me once. Just because you seen him doesn't mean he wasn't shitting his pants. That makes you a real dumbass." This is who we're dealing with, folks. This is who we're dealing with. Brandon says, "And when did I become a meth addict? I've been curious on that accusation that you know nothing about. I'd have to say if I'm a meth addict that I'm a very successful one." She says, "That's just you and your assumptions again about knowing shit when you don't, excuse me, when in fact you don't." She says, "Wow, I never said meth addict, guilty conscience much. I said drugs." It doesn't matter, Tamara. You're trying to fling mud and sling shit people's way because you don't want anyone asking you questions. You're real quick to speak for everybody else and tell everybody else's business and everybody else's life, but you don't want to tell about your own when you're asked directly. Twice I asked you directly. And then she just starts going on about, "Oh, when was the last time you seen your kids?" and da da da. And he's like, "I just saw them last night. I see them every other weekend." And I'm not going to read the rest of that fucking shit because you know what? That's disgusting in my opinion. And I'm sorry that Brandon even had to deal with that because he came forward to tell the truth about what happened to Devlin, right? So damn him and damn me and damn us all to hell for talking about the truth of what happened. Exactly, Detroit. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Chuchi. I mean, just completely. Completely. You know? Thank you, Roxy. I appreciate you being here. It's absolutely insane, right? So let me just go back down to this because this is 3 hours ago, right? So she tells me that I better listen and I had better listen good, right? My daddy never did anything to Devlin and he was cleared of any wrongdoing, which is when Devlin was okayed to go back home. But I bet you none of your informants, yeah, because I'm the police all of a sudden, told you that they all did excuse me, told you that at all, did they? First of all, I don't have informants. I have a person with firsthand knowledge that's coming to me and telling me that Devlin was abused, right? Complete cruelty, completely. I mean, absolutely awful, you know? Absolutely awful. As for what my daughter and I supposedly did to Devlin, you have no idea what went on here. Really? I think I have a pretty good idea of what went on there. I think I have a pretty damn good idea with what went on there, right? Because this is a threat to Devlin. You need to bring your ass out here whether you want to or not. I told you you need to be here at 2 p.m. for your phone call from your caseworker. You better be here or else. I'm pretty sure I know what Devlin's daily chores were because here's a list of them right here. So go on and tell me what I don't know, right? I didn't do anything to harm Devlin, and neither did Sabrina. So where's Sabrina? How come she won't talk? Because you told me that I should talk to Sabrina, but she's never reached out to me. You guys all have my information because every single one of your family members has reached out to me besides Sabrina, right? So there's that. How about I send you text messages from Jessica where Devlin was going to murder me? He didn't. It's all third party hearsay. Just because you saw it doesn't make it mean it's true. Well, guess what? Send me those screenshots. I bet you don't have them. And if you do have them, I'm sure it's just another ploy for you to victim blame and shame Devlin for your shit behavior. And how dare you talk about Devlin like that? That poor little boy had to hide his underwear. You're disgusting. You're sick. You're demented. Right? Unless it's the court document or report from a doctor, then it's all third party hearsay that that you're talking, not taking as facts. Really? Really? Well, what about this document saying that there was no real reason to take Devlin in the first place, that it was really, not really founded, but they just still gave your parents custody, right? Because they decided just to not support Tim and Jessica anymore. Instead, they took their kid and molested him, according to what we're reading, according to the first-hand account from someone, right? According to his mother getting a phone call stating that her son, her little son at 10 years old, had contracted an STD from SA. Can you imagine? But there's no heartbreak for Devlin. There's nothing. Oh, his shitty pants. He was hiding them. Oh, what a sick bitch. I can't. Not once have you called Jessica out on her wrongdoing, but you continually grasp at straws over shit that has been flung your way, right? Who do we know says that? Flung. Chris Proudfoot flung. Textbook, guys, textbook. They're not original. They think they are, though, right? They think they are, right? Flung. Flung. To accuse our daddy of any wrongdoing at all is just that. His name was cleared. Now, leave that shit out of it. And yes, I get a little attitude, or excuse me, I get an attitude. I think it's a little one. My bad. That was a Freudian slip on my part. And yes, I get an attitude because I get sick of being on the defensive side of this when we're asking for help to find Devlin. She never asked me for help to find Devlin. Not once. Not one time. And she hasn't did anything to help find Devlin. She's come in here and ran his mother out of the chat is what she's done. That's what she does. And just because Jessica does want to find her son, she left in order for Tamra to be able to speak. Right? Not pervy. She's not pervy to that information. See, Taylor. Thank you, Chuchi. Thank you. Thank you. Excuse me. Let's see. Well, Jessica, in the event that I do catch you in a lie, I'll make sure to let everybody know. You know, I will. I'll come up here and I'll be like, Jessica lied, and I'll do a whole thumbnail. Okay? Oh, shit. Oh. Now leave that shit out of it, she says to me. And yes, I get an attitude because I just get sick of being on the defensive of this when we are talking, or when we are asking for help to find Devlin, which We had nothing to do with his disappearance. No, I won't ever apologize to anyone being ugly towards us with the shit like this. I'm tired of it. I pray to God every day that Devlin will be found soon. I want our nightmare to be over, Devlin to be found, and for my whole family to be cleared of any wrongdoing. Thank you for thinking about us like you do, Jessica. We should deserve better treatment than we are getting. Well, as soon as you start treating Devlin nice, I'll start treating you nice. How's that? And leave Jessica out of it. How's that? Because I've asked you to leave Jessica out of it, and I asked you to please come in here and give information and don't attack her, but she couldn't do it. And neither could Matt. The minute that we were getting someplace, he starts talking about the fetal alcohol syndrome again. Want to ask him nicely, please don't do that. Please don't bash the mothers. Please don't bash Jessica. Please don't bash Sandra. She's an 81-year-old woman, for Christ's sake. But no, they can't do that. Jessica can, but they can't. So here, go play the violin for someone else. Ooh, do, 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 poor me, poor me. Because I'm not buying it. I said to her, I say, Brandon's knowledge is firsthand. His accounts of what happened are based on his experiences. Jessica's accounts are based from her experiences. I asked you to share yours, and you have only attacked others and now me. I said, I am done talking to you, and I mean it. I'm done. I hope Devlin is found safe as soon as possible. That's the goal. Best wishes. Right? Right? No, and it's not about you. It's about where's your son, right? I know. And that's the problem. You know, she's acting like a total savage. Excuse me, yeah, she's acting like a nut. You know, that's why I told Brandon, go, that lady's nuts. I go, she's a freaking nut. You know, blame you, blame everybody. Oh, what about your Brandon's kids aren't missing, thank the Lord. You know? If his kids were missing, then I have questions for him. Something tells me he'd answer them though and try to find his kid. Because to my knowledge, Brandon puts up flyers to find Devlin, you know? So, wife number 6. Oh god. Women's warrior, you're killing me. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna definitely get that over too. Thank you, Chuchi. Thanks, Ava. Jessica Peckham, I'm sorry you have to hear this. Sending love and prayers. Yeah. Women's Warrior says, lady, she goes into lives and tries to stop them or make it their narrative fit. Yeah, it's laughable that they make themselves look responsible trying to stop us from saying they are responsible, in my opinion. I agree. I agree. And that's why I've tried, you know, to get resources over to Jessica because she is focused on trying to find her son, right? So it doesn't really matter what I think about her, which I have no reason to think anything bad about her, because she has been truthful with me, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Sorry, guys, let me find a good spot for me. There we go. And then then after this whole crap back and forth with her, and I tell her I'm done talking to you, the next message I get is from Gordon, right? And he's emailing me and telling me I better watch who I'm talking to and I better be careful and all this crap. No way. It's like the Tates are never ending. They coming out of the woodwork, right? But they won't answer a question. You know it? And it's a little unnerving, in my opinion. Okay, Chuchi, I got it. You know, because the first one to reach out to me wasn't Sabrina, it wasn't Tamra, it wasn't Tim, right? Because he's supposedly, that's what Tamra keeps telling me. He's Devlin's dad, and he did lose custody in the courts. We see that here. He's on his name is here, but he's not said anything, right? At all. It was Matt who was in the chats. It was Matt, right? I know, Joe. Just you guys being here is helping, in my opinion. You know? Detroit says, Jessica, I'm sorry you are dealing with this alone over there. My mama heart aches for you. I am doing what I can over here, and I will let Lady know privately what responses I get back. Thanks, Detroit. Much love, girl. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, Leslie. Keep it real. She says, I think she protests too much and tries to deflect by threatening people. Right, and blaming other people. I agree, Leslie. And it's like, I'm asking you what happened, though. That was her time to tell me what happened, but she never does. Instead, she goes and admits it to Brandon, who she wants me to hate, right? And don't talk to him, but she's talking to him herself. And Gordon's telling me, be careful of who you're talking to. Really? Because your sister's talking to Brandon herself, right? And she's admitting that it wasn't when he was 13. Get it right. He was 10. Well, I'll be damned. You know? That's crazy. So, let me go back to this for those of you who haven't seen it. And I'm going to grab something to drink here. Sorry. Give me 1 second so I could just play this all through. And, here, let me go to this one instead. And I'll play you guys the news clips because I want to show you guys something when it comes to his chore list and everything and how it contradicts the statements that were made. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. Here we go.
Have you call?
Good.
It's going to be 1855 Oak Ridge Drive, cross of Walnut Lane. Caller is Sabrina Cook. She called to report her nephew missing. She's studying on Legos and walks around Lake Odessa during the day, but is normally home around 7 o'clock. She hasn't been seen since 7 o'clock this morning. Was last heard from around 8:15. The Lake Odessa officer is aware and is looking around the village.
Anything like this would happen.
A family in Lake Odessa looking for answers tonight after their loved one disappeared. Devlin Tate, an 18-year-old with special needs, was last seen on April 21st in Lake Odessa. Now, 8 days later, he has yet to be found. News 10's Amaya Kuznicki sat down with his family tonight. She joins us now live in studio with details.
And Devlin Tate was last seen wearing a black zip-up hoodie, t-shirt, blue jeans, and cowboy boots. He's just shy of 19, but his family said he is much younger mentally. They're asking anyone with information to come forward to help bring him back home.
Even I break.
Oh, I know. I've broke quite a few times.
Something that can't be helped.
It's something Tamara Host and Sabrina Cook say they never thought would happen in their small community of Lake Odessa.
It's heartbreaking, not knowing where he's at or how he is.
On April 21st, their loved one, Devlin Tate, vanished.
It's just important for us to find him because we love him. And it's not like him to be gone for so long.
He was last seen at Carl's supermarket, and ever since his disappearance, the family has been working hand in hand with law enforcement and have even taken to social media in search of answers, hoping someone comes forward with information. They've even conducted search parties.
I'm not gonna stop looking. I'm not gonna give up because it's not who I am, for one, and for two, I have a strong devotion to my nephew.
Devlin may be just shy of 19 years old, but his family says he's much younger mentally. He's diagnosed with cerebral palsy, ADHD, Tourette's, and fetal alcohol syndrome, and is without his vital medication.
Somebody out there has to know something, and they're just not coming forward. I wish they would.
Every day that passes is another day the family is left wondering where he is and if he's safe, saying they won't stop until he's back at home where he belongs.
There's power in prayer. We got a lot of people praying.
The family is offering a $1,000 reward for finding Devlin. Right now, the Ionia County Sheriff's Office says there's no updates on the case, but they are accepting leads. If you know anything about where Devlin might be, contact local law enforcement. Ann?
All right, Amaya, thank you. The family is selling signs and T-shirts. They say profits will go toward what is now a $1,000 reward. For more information, visit our website.
A family in Lake Odessa is searching for answers tonight after their loved one vanished over a week ago. The county sheriff's office there says 18-year-old Devlin Tate went missing on April 21st. Devlin's family, they say they're holding out hope that he'll become home safe and unharmed.
He's never been gone this long.
It's been over a week since 18-year-old Devlin Tate went missing in Lake Odessa.
Just a lot of frustration not knowing where he's at, if he's okay or not.
With nothing but questions, Devlin's family say it's been a difficult 9 days, not knowing where he is or if he's safe.
I feel lost.
Yeah.
Frustrated that we don't have anything.
Devlin is a familiar face here in downtown Lake Odessa, where he would spend a lot of his time. His family says his last known location was at Carl's Market here downtown. That was back on April 21st, and he hasn't been seen since.
He bought some groceries while he was there, and there hasn't been any activity on his bridge card since.
Devlin's aunt Sabrina describing April 21st as a normal day. She says she did not notice anything out of the ordinary with his behavior, making the disappearance even more confusing.
We never suspected anything. He's normally home by anywhere between 6 and 8 o'clock, and when he wasn't, I started calling him. Went straight to voicemail. And when 10 o'clock hit, when his curfew was he was supposed to be home, and he wasn't home, I came searching.
3416, copy a call.
Good.
It's going to be 1855 Oak Ridge Drive, across of Walnut Lane. Caller is Sabrina Cook. She called to report her nephew missing. She said he normally goes and walks around Lake Odessa during the day, but normally home around 7 o'clock. He hasn't been
Okay, guys. So Carrie brings up a good point again. I still don't understand how he could get up on Monday and do all of Monday's chores and be in town by 8:22, especially if he normally slept until 9:30. Very true, right? Because according to this, um, he is normally home around 7 in the evening, even though we just heard Sabrina say that he comes home between 6 and 8, right? He hasn't been seen since 7 o'clock this morning. So there's that, right? And so I want to show you guys his chore list again and show you what we're talking about here, because this is the problem, is none of these times are adding up, right? None of it's matching. And so let me pull this in again. Just chores list. Pause that. Okay. So Monday, his jobs would have been to feed the animals, right? Do the dishes, clean the cat box before he left, right? And they said they last saw him at 7 o'clock that morning, right? So feed the animals, do the dishes, clean the cat box, and let's see, who knows if he had to fill jugs that day. Doesn't sound like it, because it sounds like Jessica said he might have gotten a ride during that time. Um, and I guess he changed his clothes that morning, right? It doesn't, we don't know about the morning medications. We do see here it says chores before leaving, right? Up before 9:30 a.m. So that morning, if he woke up at, I don't know, he'd have to have woken up pretty early to do, depending on how many dishes there were, feed the animals, do the dishes, clean up after the cats. So yeah, but it was said also by, and I guess I should bring up the map. Um, yeah, here we go. Just bear with me, guys. Alrighty. Let's just say he woke up, did all the chores for Monday, and then he headed out, and he would be heading out from Oak Ridge Drive, right? And then he would have made it over to the Family Dollar. He cuts through. Um let me pull in Google Maps instead. Hold on, sorry guys, but that's the general that's the general direction he would have went, would be from here. There's these side roads, right? Here's the trailer park, right? And he would have went up this way to Family Dollar. But whenever I type it in, it usually doesn't show me the shortcut route. It just shows me the long way around Tupper Lake. And so that's why we weren't sure on which way he went, but it was confirmed by Matt and Tamara. I had to ask her again to give me both routes that he could have taken, but she did ultimately give me those routes. And that's how we kind of know that he cut through, took a shortcut. Um, let's see here. Let me just type it in here because it's a little bit easier to see it. And oh, okay, it must not be in that one. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Yeah, see this one we could tell the roads a little better, so I apologize. Let me get Bing Map off and put Google Maps on. There we go. Okay, so Devlin was residing over here off of Oak Ridge Drive. And he comes out, and he goes down, he cuts around, right? And then he would have ended up down here off of French Fry Lane. Let's see if I go back in. See, there's French Fry Lane because the McDonald's, right? So it's over here by Marco's. It's the same plaza as Marco's, right? So let me go back out again. So Devlin could have taken a couple of different little routes. He could have cut through here possibly and made it over here, right to there. Then from here, so he starts his day out and he was diving in the dumpsters behind the Family Dollar, which he did regularly. Hey, little Reddo. Yeah, sprinkled donuts here. Um, Family Dollar opens at 8, but he didn't actually go into the Family Dollar, to my knowledge, is what Tamara said on Crime Time Buzz, is that Devlin went over to gather some recyclables to turn in order to get some money, and then he would turn those in at Carl's. All right, well, go away. I don't know why I like this version better, but it's kind of screwy. So no, not yet. That's next week, Joe. That's next week. I'll be at Pigfest. So, but he was doing that, right? And then he walked over to Carl's, which would have been at 8:22, right? So he would have had to get from here to Carl's by 8:22, right? So, with that being said, he had quite the walk in the morning. He's going to gather the recyclables. Carl's opens at 7:30 a.m. Thank you, Detroit. And that's the last time he used his bridge card was around 8:21. Right? And then he heads over, he grabs himself something to eat and drink, and he heads over from Carl's to Lako Laundry, which is over here, right? Now, I don't know which route he took, but it just depends. He could have probably taken that one's closest, whatever. Doesn't really matter. The route to town matters more in my opinion because it could take like if you want around Tupper Lake, it would take you longer. Obviously, if you cut through, it's going to be shorter, right? Just Tamra's word, Carrie, and also her word about the Life 360. Because hold on to your pants here, because I'm about to drop another little bomb. If you guys weren't in chat the night that Tamara was, because according to Tamara, and I keep all of my live chats. You guys can always go back and check a live chat. Um, according to what Tamara said and Matt, right? Because Matt is brought into this, that around 9 a.m. he receives a phone call from Devlin, but it wasn't on Matt's phone. Devlin was trying to call Sandra, and Matt liked to answer the phone, according to Tamara, and mess with Devlin. Bully him over the phone, and I'm not going to let you talk to her, whatever. And they would have a pissing match, according to her, which entailed him hanging up on Devlin, Devlin hanging up on him, back and forth, And we're talking about a grown ass old man, right? He's a predator any way you smash it. Picking on Devlin, talking bad to Devlin on his Facebook page, right? So then we go over and he's on the phone. According to Matt, Matt said he stayed on the phone with Devlin for 30 minutes. Well, that would have been 9:30. But Tamara came in the chat and said that those two kids that were teasing Devlin, there we go, we can see Family Dollar, pinged Devlin's location on Life 360 at 9:30, right? Over here at Family Dollar. So how'd he get over there so fast? He's on foot from Laco Laundry to here. Marco's Pizza's in the same plaza, guys. Laco Laundry to Marco's, right? How did he ping over here if he was talking to Matt at the laundromat? Okay? That's where I'm saying it's not making any damn sense. So, here we sit. This timeline is according to the Tates known liars. Yeah, because how could he have made it over there? That's what I'm saying. Unless he got a ride and he was still on the phone with Matt, he would have had to leave here even if he got a ride and make it over in a couple of minutes, or he'd walk and it'd be, 6 minutes. 2 minutes versus 6 minutes, something like that, right? Hypothetically speaking. I don't know if she does, Elisa P. I really don't. It seems like they might if they're so broke, but they're all on disability. See, from what they've told me, like Matt said he's disabled because he's got the agoraphobia and some other issues. According to what he said in the chat, it's just not making any sense. And Matt lies too. He's lied a couple of times. And then he likes to go off in the comments, which I've just left his comments there. I'm like, go ahead if it makes you feel better. You have my email and you still haven't answered my questions. I sent over information that I found on this Michigan militia and said, do you think that maybe Devlin got involved with something and maybe he's hiding with somebody out like that or whatever? And he's just like, didn't reply back. That's not somebody that wants to help me find Devlin, right? Because somebody that wants to help me find Devlin would have responded back to me and said, look, I don't know, but this is what I know about these guys. Devlin lived with them for a couple of months and, but we can look into it. No, you don't look for something that you know where it is. You don't look for someone when you know where they are. Yeah, exactly, Jessica. Exactly. Hold up, how are kids that are bullying my son able to ping them on Life 360 app? That doesn't make much sense to me. And, I was talking about it with another creator today. And I said, don't you have to allow somebody to have your location? Right? Because, like, I used to have it for Nate because he's a hunter. And I said, what if you're, like, what if heaven forbid you fell out of a tree stand? The way people hunt is a little different in Florida. Okay. I mean, but since he was out there, I was, so I don't have him on there. I don't even have Life 360 anymore. But like when I did have him on there, it was for that purpose. So that way, like if he was hurt in the woods, I could at least ping his phone or his Life 360 location, right? And they're not 100% accurate. Our friend Kiki did a whole live about how they can be altered and different things like that. So it's not as reliable as, say, the police who last pinged Devlin's phone up here at Lakewood Estates at 11 p.m. But let's not forget that Sabrina's the one that called Devlin in, and she can't keep her story straight. Right? So there's many unanswered questions, you know? So, it's weird. So, yeah, and we're gonna do a live stream on Saturday. We're gonna multi-stream on Little Red's channel on Saturday too. I was waiting on you to come in, Little Red, for us to talk about it. So, but I think it's going to be really cool to do a panel and talk about, everything that we've learned and just, analyze this case like we do. I mean, that's what YouTubers do. We dissect cases, we examine interviews. We, try to decipher body language. One person I would love to get the attention of would be the deception detective. And I know that his channel is much bigger than mine, and I understand it can be, hard to take on a brand new case. But I really hope that he could do a statement analysis. On the little coverage that we do have. I myself would love him to try to decipher those emails and tell me what he thinks about them because, in my humble opinion, I see that they're very guilty and they're blaming other people. They're not taking responsibility, right? I wonder what he would say about them, jacking the reward fund. Hey, Nero V, good morning. I'm glad you're here. I also have something else to share about Sebastian in a little bit, but we kind of flip flopped it. I was going to talk about Sebastian first, and then I got a little fired up, but I'm better now. Uh, I'm calming. I'm calming. Okay. Um, Carrie says Michigan militia bought Devlin a ticket to go to Jessica, so they obviously thought a lot of Devlin and probably knew he wasn't being treated right. Yeah, and that's what I was worried about too, a little bit, Carrie. I'm glad you said that because I was like, well, what if they think they're doing good by him by keeping him? You know what I mean? Like, not to say I'm not trying to blame anybody, but I mean, I'm just saying I think about these things because I'm legitimately trying to find where Devlin could be, right? And I don't honestly, I don't always just go straight for a family, right? But really it really piqued my interest when I heard Tamara on Crime Time Buzz state that she took Devlin's electricity away. Right? It piqued my interest when they said it on Mr. and Mrs. E's, but she wasn't on the panel. She was commenting and they were reading her comments, right? So, and she justified it to me as well. I have the other emails that where we were actually talking back and forth civilly before she started threatening me or promising me, right? Because that wasn't a threat, that was a promise. I'm not scared of you. Mama Bear. Sounds like they couldn't handle Devlin growing into an 18-year-old independent, yes. Yeah, an 18-year-old independent man who they can't constantly control anymore. Their little slave boy was rebelling against their whip, rightfully so. Boom, Mama Bear. That's what I'm talking about right there. Devlin showed that he was trying to be mature, an independent 18-year-old man, and in my opinion, he handled himself very well. Because, yeah, he was venting to his mom, but he was being respectful to the adults. He was being respectful to his elders, and that's how I was always raised to be. You maybe you cuss them behind their back, but you definitely don't say it right there, right? But he said, "Don't talk to me like that," right? It's not nice of you to talk to me this way. You know? A lot, a lot. I know, I'm so excited, right? I am too, ladies. I really am. Thanks, Sprinkle Donut, and I appreciate you being here. And I know this stuff is hard to talk about. I know it's hard to hear. It's hard for me to present it. Like I seriously, if I didn't already know about this for a very long time, I would be up here crying. If you guys got a reaction, because what Devlin endured was awful. Yeah, Deception Detective is a little bit more of entertainment, but I do like him and I love reviewing him, Elisa P. I've reviewed him several times here. Hey KJ Mac, good morning. Yeah. Yeah, and it's just so sad, and I know not a lot of people know this story and I want people to know it. I want people to know it because it's not fair for some of these kids. They get no exposure whatsoever. Sprinkle Donut says, just the little I know about this, we need to do whatever we can to get more attention out there for Devlin. Someone knows something. I agree, Sprinkle Donut, and it's a small area. It's a really small, cute area. Yeah, well, I mean, it's the pictures that you sent me because I thought those were really good, and I wanted to see what everybody thought about them, you know? All the kids need our attention. Yeah, and even, the older people, but I do focus more on kids and autistic kids has been, one thing that I've liked to cover, like I remember the little girl, and I took her video down, but she was a little girl, um, in Chicago, and it got me because I'm from Chicago. And hell, I mean, I looked it up on the map. I grew up 3 hours away from Lake Odessa. So that hit me too. Um, but she had autism. She missed her bus. She didn't arrive where she was supposed to arrive, right? Her father was like looking all over for her, and they found her, other because I don't usually take my videos down, but since they found her, and it was scary, right? Because she's autistic and she did get lost, right? She did get lost. So there's a big difference because we find those children. But these parents, these caregivers want us to think that this child went poof and don't talk about it. And by God, don't share any of the messages that you get from people showing what we did to him. If you do, you're going to get sued. Please. Mama Bear Sabrina had a quirky smile when she was talking about Devlin being missing, and Duper's delight. Yeah, I agree, Mama Bear. And in the least didn't seem upset, and he was missing. Tamara the same, no tears. No tears. Now there is going to be a little bit more here. I'll show you guys this next part while I catch up with the chat. But let me show you this, and I'll share this part. Just bear with me here.
Been seen since 7 o'clock this morning. Was I heard from around 8:15. Lake Odessa.
Sorry, guys. I'll
Be 1855 Oak Ridge Drive, across of Walnut Lane. Caller is Sabrina Cook. She called to report her nephew missing. She said he normally goes and walks around Lake Odessa during the day, but is normally home around 7 o'clock. He hasn't been seen since 7 o'clock this morning. Was I heard from around 8:15. Lake Odessa. The Lake Odessa officer is aware and is looking around the village, but if you could check the area as well.
Okay.
Also, be advised, the aunt had said that he's got a friend, Joni Sowers, who lives in a trailer park. There's a possible address for her in the notes as well.
Okay.
2232 6436, your status?
Security.
Clearance suspending, 2232.
22 from Central. Go ahead. I ran her caller. She's got a couple of care bonds out of Iron County. I'm close. 2232. 3416 from 395. Good. I can head over to 47 Mandy and check out that address, if that works with you. Yeah, that'd be great, thanks. Sure, Jack.
2247.
I want to go check the address 47 Mandy. 47 Mandy no longer exists. I am going to go down to the auction barn and see if he's over there.
I'm clear, 2259.
Have you gotten ill since wearing retainers? My dentist showed me it's because I brush it. Earlier today at my checkup, my dentist...
43416. Go ahead, sir. Come on over to 6 Keisha Court in the back of the trailer park with me. I might have them located here. Hey, sir.
Clear, 2342.
Central 46-3.
46-3.
Back in.
2350. 16.
Can you try calling Devlin's phone number, please?
3416 from Downtown.
Good.
It's going straight to voicemail.
Okay, thanks.
Very good.
We never expected anything. He's normally home by anywhere between 6 and 8 o'clock, and when he wasn't, I started calling him. Went straight to voicemail. And when 10 o'clock hit, when his curfew was he was supposed to be home, and he wasn't home, I came searching.
His family says he's diagnosed with cerebral palsy, autism.
Okay, guys, so I just want to point out that Matt Tate in my chat said around 7:30 he got a hold of Jessica. Right? He got a hold of Jessica at 7:30 p.m. that night. So if he's usually home between 6 and 8, according to what Sabrina said here, then why are they calling Jessica at 7:30? And they reported him missing at 10:32. Like I said, contradictions galore.
Tourette's and fetal alcohol syndrome, and is without his necessary medication. But their love and determination to bring him home has not stopped, turning to law enforcement, social media, and the community for help, holding out hope for a positive conclusion.
We're hoping and praying that anyone with any information at all that'll lead to his whereabouts will let us know, that they'll get a hold of us.
My gut hurts every time I think. I try not to think of every possibility that could be happening or that where he could be, and it makes my gut hurt.
In Lake Odessa, Adriana Doria, News 8.
New tonight, the family of a missing Lake Odessa teenager is hoping someone knows where he is. Devlin Tate was last seen April 21st on surveillance video at Carl's Market downtown.
Yeah, Devlin's family says his disappearance has been a complete shock, and they're hoping someone can help bring him home.
Heartbreaking and gut-wrenching.
That's how 18-year-old Devlin Tate's family describes the past week and a half.
Our family is going through a living hell that I wouldn't wish on nobody.
It was supposed to be just another Monday. Devlin, a routine walker, left home for a trip to the store, but this time he never returned.
I didn't think anything of it really until like 10 o'clock hit, and then I was like super worried, especially when I went to places and couldn't find him. Then my heart just sank.
Sabrina Cook says her nephew was last seen the morning of April 21st on surveillance video at Carl's Market in downtown Lake Odessa. He's 6 feet tall, weighs 170 pounds, and was wearing a black sweatshirt, white t-shirt, jeans, and cowboy boots.
He's got a goofy personality, brown hair.
He's well known in the community. He frequents Buddies on the Beach, Carl's, Penny's Pizzeria. the laundromat.
Devlin is diagnosed with autism, cerebral palsy, Tourette's, and fetal alcohol syndrome. He's now been without his critical medication for over a week. His family is working closely with police, but with no solid leads. They're asking the public to check security cameras and report anything that could help. With his 19th birthday just weeks away, his family is holding on to hope that he'll soon be found.
Devlin's birthday's in 25 days, and I hope that he's home before then. We can only hope that he's still alive, that he's okay.
And if you have any information about Devlin, you're asked to contact the Ionia County Sheriff. Juliet.
Alrighty, guys. I just want to note the date is May 30th, 2025, and this is the only time that we see anyone shed tears.
Devlin, if you can hear this, we love you. We miss you. Just at least let us know that you're okay.
40 days without answers after a Lake Odessa teen vanished. The Ionia County Sheriff's Office says 19-year-old Devlin Tate was last seen on April 21st. News 8's Adriana Doria spoke with Devlin's family as their search for answers continues.
Still lost.
Definitely. It's gut-wrenching, not knowing.
The search for Devlin Tate continues, and his family's cry for help.
Still worried. My thoughts and emotions still have not changed. Still thinking that there's more to this situation than what's actually being said.
Monday, May 26th was Devlin's 19th birthday. His family spent it without him as they enter day 40 after his disappearance.
I'm lost at which way to look.
Devlin's cousin and sister say that Devlin was last seen in surveillance video at Carl's Market downtown. They say he's diagnosed with cerebral palsy, autism, Tourette's, and fetal alcohol syndrome, making his disappearance even more concerning.
It's not like Devlin to go this long without communication. It's not like Devlin to
not even be on social media at all.
And not only that, but not to, whether it be with us or to my grandma, but to at least reach out.
In the days and weeks since his disappearance, Sabrina and Tamara have taken to the community, law enforcement, and social media for answers. They have fundraised enough money to offer a $6,000 reward for anyone who helps bring him home.
And Devlin, if you can hear this, we love you. We miss you. Just at least let us know that you're okay.
Sabrina says as the time goes by, it's been hard to move on, not knowing if Devlin is safe and okay.
So I start 2 jobs this week, and I feel like I'm doing wrong because I feel like I'm moving on with my life without him. And I feel like I'm not supposed to.
So now they are holding out hope for a...
Okay, guys, so I just want to pop on here, and this is Sabrina's post on her page. She moved to Lansing, Michigan from Lake Odessa, and she says that she's living her best life one day at a time. Quote, living my best life one day at a time, end quote. Right? And then she fake cries here, in my opinion.
So now they are holding out hope for a positive outcome, hoping to see Devlin home again soon.
Hoping that he'll knock on the door to let him in, or he'll come walking through the door when it's open. We want the prayers to keep pouring.
Right? And then she says that she's going to let him in when he knocks on the door. Right? But we have her here, and she's saying something different. Right? She's telling him that she's going to lock him out. Right? Let me find it. If he doesn't come home. Hold on a second. There we go. There's right there. Sorry, I missed it. It says, if you don't bring your ass out here, I will kick it right out the door when you do come back. You guys see that? Those are her words, not mine. I'm just examining this case.
Feel like I'm doing wrong because I feel like I'm moving on with my life without him. And I feel like I'm not supposed to.
So now they are holding out hope for a positive outcome, hoping to see Devlin home again soon.
Hoping that he'll knock on the door. Let him in. Well, he'll come walking through the door when it's open. We want the prayers to keep pouring in for him and the support. Everybody knew him, and the list goes on.
And we all miss him.
It's been over a month since a Lake Odessa teenager went missing, and still no answers for the family.
Devlin Tate turned 19 Monday. His family said it was a difficult day without him. The Ionia County Sheriff's Office says that Devlin was last seen April 21st. He was seen on surveillance video at Carl's Market in Lake Odessa.
Since his disappearance, Devlin's family continues to search and fundraise to bring him home. They're offering a $6,000 reward. The Ionia County Sheriff's Office says they're following all leads they get and are concerned for Devlin's well-being. Now it's day 40 without Devlin, and they're hoping that someone comes forward with information.
It's just hard. It really is. Somebody knows something and nobody's giving anything up. And obviously somebody knew, somebody's talked to him, somebody's seen him, helped him, something.
Devlin is 6 feet tall and about 170 pounds. Anyone with information about his whereabouts is asked to contact the Sheriff's Office or Silent Observer.
Okay, guys, and this is his missing flyer too. I just wanted to point out Devlin Tate was last seen at Carl's Supermarket in Lake Odessa on April 21st, 2025 at 8:21 a.m. He was wearing a black zip-up sweatshirt, a white t-shirt, blue jeans, and black cowboy boots. Devlin was on foot at the time of his disappearance, right? Because he was out there walking around, you know? Oh, Robini, I didn't know you were going through a surgery. Thanks for being here, girl. I hope you're getting well soon. Aw. So if Sabrina fell into the category of able-bodied people whose SNAP benefits are now denied and have to work at least 20 hours a week, and Devlin's dollars no longer filling their pockets, she has to work. You know, I heard they're changing the benefits, Mama Bear. That's a good point. That is a good point. I just feel like they used him for what little resources he had, you know? So good to see you, Robini. And hey, Seclusion Works, bonjour. I think I misspelled that when I put it in the chat. Um, yeah. Yeah, exactly. KJ Max says, what's up with people saying that he will come through the door? How often have we heard that from sketchy sources? Exactly. It's weird. And thank you, Detroit. Thank you so much. I don't know, Carrie, and I did answer in the chat. Carrie says, what date was Best Life Ever post? So she just basically posted that. Here's the post here. And she put, well, it's I guess I shouldn't say it's a post. It's just when you go to her page, it says living my best life one day at a time. So you could just go to her page and see it, which I'm like, okay. And, I don't know when she changed it over, from, like, living in Lansing. I don't know if that was the day she changed it or what, like, when she made the post about that, um, and changed her location type of a thing. Um, but yeah. Um, it's just really sad, and like I said, the timeline isn't adding up at all. They haven't looked for Devlin like they should, in my opinion, and I'm not talking about the police. I'm talking about the people that were with him last or who were responsible for him last or what have you, because I don't know if someone picked him up or something like that. We just don't know. Um, any way to pull the background noise in his voice clip about adult guardianship. Um, I can't because of how it's played. I thought maybe I could, but with that being Devlin talking, like, into the microphone in the background, you can hear, I think it's Sabrina, he says he's with her and Will. Her nickname is Bean, and he says, "I'm with Bean and Will," right? And you can hear a female voice in the background. Um, but I can't pull it away from each other, if that makes sense. Like, I can kind of make it louder so we can try to decipher what she's saying, but I already put it up 3 times. Um, so oh, good. Yay, Ravini. I'm so glad. Oh, and Gavin in the chat. Thanks for being here. That's great. Yeah, and I did see that video too. That was a good video. Little Red says Sprinkled and I made a video. It posted on both of our channels. Yeah, see, that's fantastic. And you can drop the links for that too if you want, Little Red. Go ahead. Mama Bear says Tamara should just have said she was too hard on Devlin, not make excuses or defend her harsh behavior, that she will try to do better. The wanting to find Devlin would seem more genuine. Well, and that's what I was saying too, Mama Bear. I mean, really, it seemed like she felt guilty in that clip, in my opinion, where Tamara does start crying, and it looks like she was feeling bad about locking him out. And so I thought, well, maybe she, was genuinely feeling bad about locking him out, and that made her tear up. And so I was like, well, at least there's some emotion, right? Some seemingly genuine emotion. But then she turns around with those emails and acting the way she was, and she did victim blame Devlin a lot, you know. And we'll talk about the other emails, but I just felt like she had gone too far. And anybody that's willing to go to those lengths to try to silence someone from telling the truth, that's an issue, right? That's an issue. So, um, and she doesn't deny that her father was being looked at for that. So there's that, right? So it's obviously all alleged, in my opinion, from what people are saying their experience was at that time. Um, KJ Max says, I wonder what are the statistics of people going missing from um, in small towns, and how often it's someone the person knows that's involved. I'm guessing it's a high statistic. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's such a small area. It is such a small area that we're looking at. Geographically speaking, you do have mostly lakes around the area, and then um, the rest of it is the town. Hey, Don Emery. So, um, yeah, he could have been snatched. That's true. Seclusion works. I agree. You know, Aw, thank you. Thank you, Detroit. Yeah. But yeah, and we did a live too, and I announced it was a couple of lives ago, and we announced that, the United Cajun Navy said that they would help. So that's really fantastic news that Jessica shared with me. And um, I went ahead and, brought that into a live stream. So definitely check that out. Um, I'm grateful that they decided to help. Welcome back, Leslie. So I'm very grateful that they decided to help, and I'm just praying for them to, you know, find him, or give some answers at the very least, like eliminate an area or areas, and that's what they do. But if you guys want to know more information on them, definitely check out their website, and I don't know if they do take donations. I saw that Town Chat was asking about that. I'm not sure. I just know that they show up when they're needed. They did for Riley Strain, they did for Sebastian Rogers, and they said that they're going to for Devlin. So, um, really exciting news, and that's wonderful. So, I want to go ahead and change it over to Sebastian before we leave because I know we've been on for a while, but I thought there were, we had a lot of information to get out tonight. So I appreciate you guys being here for it. And let me go ahead and share my screen here. Um, because our friend sent over some photos of Sebastian. Let's see here. And because people are talking about maybe Sebastian had a burner phone. And what I kind of want to reiterate to you guys too is that we learned about burner phones on this channel because I did a little video on it. And it was basically talking about how one would obtain a burner phone. Um, and when you have two phones, like I do, I have an iPhone 11 and I have a 14, and they were both in my name at one point, right? One of them doesn't have service, but the other one does, and I still can attach it to Wi-Fi and use it. So I'll attach it to my Wi-Fi, and I use my phone. That's still registered to me. So like, if the police were to say seize my phones, right, they would both come up under my name, and they could tell that I've been the one that's using them for, especially the older one, for years, right? And in that case, that's not a burner phone. Just because I have two phones doesn't mean one of them's a burner. A burner phone is a phone that you buy, and you put prepaid minutes on it. You pay cash for it, right? And then you literally destroy the phone however you destroy it, but it's called a burner phone because it's meant to get rid of, right? It's not meant to keep it and use it for the Wi-Fi later and all of that stuff, right? So they're trying to attach Seth to a burner phone, which is kind of crazy, right? Because Sebastian did have his own phone, right, at Seth's house. He had a phone at Seth's house. He had a phone at his mom and stepdad's house. So when Sebastian would go over there, he would use his phone, according to what his dad was saying. But Seth had another phone, right, that he would use and connect to the Wi-Fi. And it was also said that Sebastian had like a tablet from his grandmother that he didn't really use too often because most of the stuff that he could do on the tablet, he just did it on his phone. Right. And then they also had like a PlayStation or something like that. You guys might have to refresh my memory there, but there was, some other devices that were taken, you know? So that's kind of where we're at with that. Um, because, we were under the impression that Sebastian had a phone and it was plugged in at home and he didn't have it at the Texas Roadhouse that night. KJ Maxx says the burner phone story from Clarksville. The same Clarksville was mentioned by CP and KP nudged him. Burner phone story hour by the foot fan club. In my opinion, I think so. I think it is as well. I think it's definitely something that they're kind of trying to push, right? And we have a couple of things to talk about in that regard. Um, Elisa P says, I don't think the people buying into this burner phone thing with Sebastian understand that the case, if that were the case, the FBI cart team, or excuse me, I think you meant to say card team, would have easily been able to track it. And I agree with that too, because they were doing like geofencing and things like that when they brought the card team in. To my knowledge, they were doing all of that. Yeah, and they can track those. Yeah. Yeah, they can track those. So Seth had one, but not Sebastian. Is that what I understand? Yeah, like he had two phones. He had two phones, Little Red. Like I have two phones that I use. One of them is under Verizon. The other one, I believe, was it might have been Sprint. But either way, they're both like when you put your name in there, at Trisha's iPhone, that way you can find the Wi-Fi. It's under Trisha's iPhone. Or this one I named iPhone 2. The one that I actually use now is called iPhone 2, right? Because I have one and then this one's 2, right? So like I'm not hiding anything. You know what I mean? Like if the police ask me, let me see your phone, they're gonna see both of my phones. But if I had another phone that I got, say, at like Dollar General and I put some minutes on it and I used it for a little while as, a phone, um, and then I destroyed it, right? That's a burner phone. So Sebastian wouldn't have had a burner phone per se. If he had a phone, he'd have a phone, someone's phone, right? So it's still weird. So we have, um, sorry guys, let me pull this over to the side quick so I can get it easily. So we have pictures rather, excuse me. This one is of Sebastian with his hands in his pockets, right? His hands are also in his pockets when he leaves the car. Um, or excuse me, when he's walking over to the car, outside of the Texas Roadhouse, if I'm not mistaken. But he walks in with his fingers like in his ears, you know. So here's one picture, and I did send them over to my picture people, and they were saying that they don't think it's a phone, and I was looking really closely at it, and it doesn't appear that he has a phone. I think it's just part of the way that his mannerisms are, right? He like walks with his hands in his pockets. But I wanted you guys to see I wanted to see what you guys think. Mama Bear says, poor Sebastian, I don't understand another channel banning anyone whose opinions is he's deceased. I think it will cause a lot of people to stop engagement who keep his story going. Oh, I didn't know anything about that. I mean, look, Seth doesn't want to hear that, you guys. I mean, I certainly wouldn't. Um, you know, Yeah, well, and that's true. KJ Maxx says exactly, Elisa P, but many people won't think it through. The misinformation from the foot camp uses the idea repeat a lie often enough and it becomes the truth, in my opinion. Exactly. And that's the problem, KJ Maxx, that we're seeing is because now everybody's in a frenzy about you know, this phone situation. And it's like, really? So aw, thanks, Detroit. I sure will. Give me a second here. I think I was on my Gmail before. I know, and it's hard for me too because I had to email myself the links for it because I'm like, how do I get them in the chat then? But thank you. I know it's hard to find them. Um, and I think somebody has the name of Lady Freedom already, which I think is funny. Because I wasn't expecting that, but thank you, and thank you guys so much for helping with the trip because I know it's a last minute thing. But I just want to be there to help Seth spread awareness. I mean, he really needs all the help he can get from all of us, you know. So it because that's the thing. They're trying to put it in Clarksville where Seth lives, right? They're trying to put Sebastian making a call there. And here's the other one where it's been kind of circled for us. So, I mean, you know, I don't know. It's hard. It's a toss up for me because he does walk with his hands in his pockets. But then we were also talking about the bathroom. Nero V says could be a distraction technique used. Um, what was people talking about in this case at time? I know I was talking about Cassie and she lived registered property in Clarksville. Oh, okay. That's interesting, Nero V. That's interesting. Well, and I just think that Sebastian was being told something at the roadhouse. Like, I really wish that we knew what was being said there because it would make all the difference, in my opinion. Oh, geez, Louise. Sorry, guys. But like, you could just see that something is going on here, right? Like the TBI wanted us to think that they were all happy go lucky that day, and you know, so did Matt and Devlin's case. But that's not the experience. That was the reality of the situation here. You know, there was a lot going on, in my opinion. And I do think they're using a lot of distraction techniques, right? Because Katie is definitely telling Sebastian off, right? And then the poor kid retracts into himself and looks defeated, in my opinion. He starts, you know, biting his nails, you know? So thank you. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Seclusion Works, the PS4 that was trashed. Yeah, Kobe's wrecked Sebastian's toys. Oh, I know, I know. Can we say the store by a Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, Little Red. That's what I was gonna say too. If we can't get to the vet, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, the cast team. You're talking about Elisa P. I thought you were talking about the card team. The child abduction rapid response cast team casts a wide web over an area and tracks all the phones. Oh, so they were the ones that did the geofencing, Elisa, of the area. Then they follow that track of each phone. Okay, I see. There are many of these specialty teams within the FBI. Yeah, okay. So the card team does the geofencing. Yeah, and they were deployed. That's what yeah, sorry, child abduction rapid response deployment or something like that. Um, the burner phone is a bunch of bullshit, says Detroit. Another play to distract everyone from them. Yeah, I think so too. Please, Lord, they need to quit playing games. Seth would know for a fact if he had one. These people are sick. Well, and that's the thing too, like anything to take away from Katie, right? But she was the last one with Sebastian and they weren't having a great day like she said, you know? So it's like so if there were any burner phones, it would be as simple as bringing in the FBI cast team to track it. Okay, so well, and we know they did all kinds of stuff in the beginning. All kinds of stuff, you know? Mm-mm. I don't think so, Lisa. And I really did examine that pretty well with this, and it's a good catch still. I mean, it really is, in my opinion. Like, it really is. Um, so I just think that, you know, I just think maybe something went awry. Maybe they were supposed to do something at the Roadhouse because it is all strange activity at the Texas Roadhouse. Now, another thing I wanted to bring in tonight, which I think it was Michelle After Dark that talked about this, but I was sent over this map, and a local had sent me this, um, you know, and she was telling me that they had driven this road before, right? And that basically where they're saying that there's a road, there isn't in this map. There is not a road there to be driven. And that's what I was told. So, you know, hey Sue, thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. Welcome in. And so this is, you know, interesting. This is interesting right here. And the reason I think it's interesting is because they're kind of trying to make something happen here which doesn't exist, right? And so, in my opinion, I would have to kind of debunk this theory just by what I was told um, by someone who's familiar with the area. And as a matter of fact, I might, whenever I go to Pigfest, be able to just go to this area and show you guys because I do want to film at the Texas Roadhouse. The green hoodie person, right, coming up, I never realized it until Mr. and Mrs. E. They showed the Texas Roadhouse and how that there's a big fence around the area, right, around the shopping center, if you will. And there's a hotel over there, and different businesses, right? There's even like a medical building over there as well, right by the Texas Roadhouse over on the other side of the bushes. So I really want to go over there and film the lay of the land for you guys. Maybe do a live stream. Just kind of depends. I don't think that they'll want me to live stream in the Texas Roadhouse, but at least if I can get some footage and show you guys, kind of the lay of the restaurant. So, thank you, Nero V. Thank you so much. Um, but I think this would be another interesting, place to kind of film and show you guys. So I want to do that as well and kind of show you, maybe even drive over here and show you kind of what's going on over here, but then also, on the map with Sebastian, that street one over, I think it's Honeysuckle, where they're saying that the cars were that's what the 3 a.m. lights were. The police want us to believe they were well, for one, they told us it was a trash truck, but we know that's not it. And then they also told us that it was 2 headlights, but we know that they were, working independently like flashlights. So that's another kind of, tall tale in my opinion, and it's not illegal for the police to lie to us, right? So I mean, there's that. But well, guys, I just wanted to kind of show you that and just let you know that I had, some information from a local that had helped me out with that and kind of helped me understand that because I was like, wow, I didn't realize, that you could drive over there. And they're like, no, you can't. So, but again, I want to go ahead and thank everybody for being here tonight. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks, Little Red. We'll definitely get together. We're going to say prayers for Miss Ann that she can get some money together for her little doggy. Hopefully, we could do some, natural fixes for helping her get rid of those the ticks that you were talking about, Miss Ann. And And thank you guys so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you guys. Um, Definitely say some prayers that we find Devlin Tate. Say prayers that we find Sebastian Rogers. Hopefully, one of these days they'll have justice. As I do think that justice deserves to be served in both of these cases. Thank you, Elisa P. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Sprinkle Donut, for being here. I really appreciate everyone. Yeah, thank you, Leslie. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I'm going to do a day show for sure. I know I said I was going to today, but we ended up getting back from the Keys way too late last night. And so I decided, and plus I was dealing with kind of the back and forth today. But I would love, love, love to get together with you guys in the afternoon tomorrow for a day show, and then we'll do another late night show. We are going to be making ribbons for Sebastian Rogers, so we'll probably do that on the late show. All right, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening, and thank you all so much for joining. I will see you next time.